Hey everyone, my name's Brian. That's my brother Adam, and we are the Factional Fight Brothers. Thank you everyone for joining. We are back in Wurm, and we get to play another round of Wurm. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing okay, thanks. And
That's
Reganation, how's it going? Welcome
yeah.
to the
Thanks
show.
everyone for joining, and who will join and watch in the future. Uh,
Wow,
wow,
thank
thank
you.
you, Regan
Thank you
Nation.
so much for that sub. 9 months in a row. Boy.
That's crazy. Uh, yeah, so we're back in Wurm. We're back in our village. We're excited to get going. It's been a long few weeks.
And JCast, thank you as well for that sub.
Yeah, thanks.
Also 9 months in a row. It's
Uh,
amazing to think that we've been streaming for 9 months on Twitch this time around.
yeah,
Wow.
it's kind of crazy to think. We've been really, I mean, I've been really busy at work. So, it's great to just have this time now to relax and worm. And I think that's really what we all enjoy. It's almost like our escape from reality. So I am excited. I'm excited to get our village going. In the last episode that we were doing, we had built a bridge. We were contemplating on what the bridge would look like. We did a number of things. We talked about the almanac journals. We talked about, or we looked over what we should do with the bridge. We didn't have any of the items. So like the goal was to collect items like the dioptra and to collect the what's the other item?
The range pole.
Yeah, the range pole, and to be able to create a bridge. So we did that, and I've been trying to get all the items to create the bridge, all the materials, and the last materials we just made, which were the ribbons. And now we can finally build the bridge. So we have a number of goals that we want to do, but that's what I really want to start with, is to actually build this bridge and to see if it really does work. But before we do that, I think you know what time it is, Adam.
Oh, I know what time it is.
Let's open up our drinks. What do you have this week?
So this week I brought along with me a dark horse stout. If you've been watching, you'll know that I've been
I've been really into stouts.
really into stouts, really into stouts lately. So yeah, this is one of my favorites.
I'm still completely into IPAs. Although last week I was at your house. Was it last week?
Yep.
Yeah, and you gave me an IPA called, what was the name? Space Invaders? Was it something like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You gave me a Space Invader IPA. I had no idea they made these things, and it had like a retro Space Invaders theme on the front, and it was actually like really good. I don't have an IPA this week. I ran out of beer in my fridge again. I really wish I get time to go to the LCBO or something, or the beer store. So instead, I went to the back of the fridge and found a Summersby cider that I've been ignoring for quite some time. So since I have no other reasons, and it's not bad. Like Summersby and ciders, they're not terrible.
It's just a cider, is all.
It's just cider. I think
Really
that's the
what it
perfect
is-
way of saying it.
Is that it's not a beer?
Not a beer,
Yeah.
but better than nothing.
Right.
It's refreshingly crisp, and since spring's coming to Canada, spring's here, summer's coming to Canada very soon. Almost seems like spring was like 1 week long. Yeah, it's very refreshing, at least. All right, so let's take a look at what we have. So I have my, I guess, house of leather here. There you are. And I wanted to make a second level
I'm guessing that you
And
grabbed a bunch of ribbons because I made a whole bunch more than.
I did steal a bunch of ribbons, yeah.
Okay.
So they should be all on here.
And Deathwind,
All
what's going on?
right, hey,
What's
Deathwind.
going on? Thank you so much for that sub. Also 9 months, boy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
All right, I've been waiting for this moment. Seems like for a few weeks now.
I know we haven't really been. The last couple of weeks we've been both pretty busy, so we haven't had enough Wurm time.
That's right.
Yeah. But so something did happen between the last episode and this one, and that is, I guess some people were watching our show from last week and saw how we were trying to work out the time that, let's say, olive season was going to be, and we were talking about how we were both interested in working on forestry, and so I'll have to give a shout out to a couple of people. One is XXX Poison XXX, who sent this completed almanac with a whole bunch of reports. So thank you so much, Poison.
Wait, so somebody sent you an entire almanac with every single report?
Yeah.
Really?
And Alan Key, thank you so much for that Twitch Prime sub. And JD Booker says, my friend lives in Edmonton, and their summer is like 1 day long.
I don't know much about Edmonton. I mean, we only went there for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm. It did feel like
we were
summer,
on vacation
though.
as a kid, but...
And Kunda Korit, how's it going? Yes, I did get a haircut. It was getting like way out of control. Yeah, it was getting way out of control. Perry Hellion, what's going on? What's going on?
Hey, Perry Hellion.
Sandstone, I did find a bunch of sandstone veins. So I think we're doing okay. I got a bunch of crates of sandstone, just got to cut them into bricks now. And plenty of sandstone left. Okay, so where are we here? Are you starting?
So I think the goal for today, so there's going to be a number of goals. I want to finish this bridge, and I just want to see what it looks like. So that'll be sort of the beginning here.
Okay.
And then I want to plan the next building. So either, what do you think of planning the building that's sort of like the central building?
The central building? Sure. By the central
One
building,
of
you mean
them.
like the storage building?
Maybe a storage building, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like a good thing to get started. Although, yeah, we're going to have to work on stuff.
It'd be nice to have a place to put our stuff, if that makes sense.
100%. Right now we have it all like in random bulk storage bins and crates all over the place. It'd be nice to get it all into one spot. I completely forgot. I was in the middle of talking about the almanac that Poison sent. So
Yes.
that was awesome. But in addition...
You got an entire almanac.
Yeah, an entirely finished almanac, which is amazing.
Wow. You don't even have to work for it anymore.
Somebody else also sent us a whole bunch of reports as well. And that was somebody by the name of Almost Solitude.
A whole bunch of reports. Like how many?
Like all of them, basically one of each.
Not lots of reports. All of them.
Not lots of all the different types, but one of each of them. So I'm going to pass this one over to you so that we each now...
Ooh.
Whoops. So that we each now have a completed report.
Nice.
So there you go. So now we'll be able to tell exactly when all of the things are in season. And it looks like we missed olive season, unfortunately.
Dang it.
It's another nine months away.
I was picking lemons and apples the other day.
They're still in season, it looks like.
Both
lemons and apples. Lemons.
And it's because one of the goals in this place was for me to learn how to do wine making. I've never done that. So that's still on the table. I want to make a whole bunch of trellises. Is beer in the game? I can't remember if beer's in the game yet.
Beer is in the game, yes.
So if that's not too hard, I'd probably want to do both.
Okay. That sounds like a plan. I am not
That'll
allowed to
come
grab
after.
stuff from your cart.
How is that possible?
Maybe, oh, it's because I was too far away.
Okay.
Okay.
Like blaming me.
What do I need here? A bunch of these. Do I need a bunch of wooden beams, like
Possibly.
shafts? We don't have many shafts, eh? Do we need more shafts?
We don't have many shafts. We might need a couple more. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
So this level, we need a couple of small nails. I'll take a couple.
Let's see here. You know, bridges take a lot of mats.
They do. Especially the wooden ones seem to take a lot of different kinds of mats. Plank shafts, large nails, small nails, ribbons, and wooden beams. Nice. But that is really only the ends.
Right. Okay, so the middles need large nails,
Like a lot less, right?
small nails, planks, ribbons. No,
You just said
beams,
everything. No.
shafts, planks. Yeah, pretty much everything. So what am I missing? I need ribbon,
Okay.
large nail,
Ribbon, a
beams.
beam.
A beam. I have a beam.
I need to be on the same bridge.
Oh, I'm missing ribbons. Oh goodness. I did bring all the rest of the ribbons, so not that we'll need them all.
Did I just
And of course, I can't walk.
there we
now.
go. Yeah, you gotta put the beam down.
Right. Let's put the beams into your cart here. No, I'm too far.
I got some ribbons.
I need to be on the same bridge. Here we go. I'm almost there. So, Deathwind, you say you need to get cooking. Yes, we need to get cooking too.
Yeah, I think one of the goals at some point is I'm just gonna create a ton of pottery. I guess pottery bowls would be a good start. And just raise my hot food cooking for a bit.
You're probably at that point where you could use pans now.
Really? Maybe.
What's your hot food cooking at? I think it's like a 40 now, isn't it? Or something in that vicinity.
No.
Oh, it's not?
It's still in the 30s.
Okay, but it's in the 30s. It's not like you're starting out from scratch right now. So it's possible that you're ready to graduate to pans.
Maybe. But look, so let's say I make a bunch of breakfasts. What's the next easiest thing to level? Is it something in a pan?
Yeah,
Like, we don't really have that many mats.
I think it's meals now. So I think really it's just veggies and meat into a pan. And you should like fillet the meat and all that stuff.
Right.
What you really need
But
is
I can't. The thing is that I can make pottery bowls. I can't make pans.
Well, I'm going to have to make the pans for you, I think.
Ugh. Yeah.
I could do that. I can make some pans.
And how many go into or can potentially go into like one oven?
100? I think 100. Put 100 pans in an oven. But I also think forges are the way to go. I could be wrong. At least this is the way it used to be. It used to be make forges because that
right.
increases the difficulty. What's going on here?
Oh.
Getting teleported off this bridge. Look at this.
Me too.
Can't get onto that bridge.
Am I better? It doesn't like that bridge. Maybe
no.
if I take this off. No? How about that bridge now?
Maybe. Get off and back
Can
on.
you get on it?
Nope. It's still a little buggy. You know what it is? It must be that wall. You know that wall that's under there?
Oh no. Really?
Well, let's see once we get it all finished. Although, I'm also pretty sure that
Not
if
even
you,
a wall. It's I mean, it's a
it's a wall, it's a fence.
fence.
It's a pottery fence. Yeah, it's the wall. Okay, so
if
okay, so go ahead.
so, you're saying if I destroy it, it would still act as a wall.
The
The
bridge.
bridge would act as a wall.
I don't know for sure. Does anybody else know? If we destroy that wall, will the cows be able to get out, or will the fence block them? Or not the fence, but the bridge. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't really want to do JD Booker. That's a lot. 259 pans.
Yes, I used to do it that way too. 37 pans in a backpack and 7 backpacks in an oven.
I was thinking like maybe do 100 at a time.
And Kundakorit is saying you should use ovens now after the cooking update.
Wonderful. I mean, that's fine.
I mean, I want
Makes sense to me.
it does make sense to do it in ovens, but I wonder if increasing the difficulty does still play a role in giving you better skill gain when you're at higher level anyway. I don't know.
Do you want to destroy this wall? This fence?
Well, we can try. We can try. I'm still
Interesting.
yeah. I still love how you called your cart the old fat Buddha.
Yeah, you'll never know.
Yeah. Okay, so the fence will block it. Okay, so the bridge will block it. You think they remove cooking from
Cooking
forges?
altogether. I wonder why they would do that. I mean, it wasn't really. There was no artificial.
Do I have my maul here? Or did I leave it in the forge down there?
Because I definitely don't have any malls.
I left it in the forge, so I'm going to go grab it.
All right. I mean, so good news is after last update, our last video, we went to see the Titch Memorial, which I do believe everyone should see at least once. Lots of cool little Easter eggs that they left.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that Titch Memorial. I really did.
Yeah. And so we had left, there was an area up at the top where you could leave. They want you to leave like a little message, and they would memorialize your message, the item that you left, and then make it so it lasts forever. And so after the episode, can't remember when, Willow did message us because we said that we were supposed to message Willow because she's the one that has the power to, one of the ones that has the power to sort of make the item last forever that we left. And she had messaged and said that she watched our video and saw that we left it there in the video and then went, and now our little messages will be there forever. Which is great.
Yeah, that's good
so
to
thank
hear.
you, Willow.
Yeah, thanks, Willow, for that.
If anybody has time and wants a little bit of an adventure, definitely recommend going to see that Titch Memorial.
Totally.
It's quite a sight.
Okay, I only have one maul.
Okay.
So.
Well, good luck. If we only have one or two animals, it's true. If we only have one animal, you can completely just have a 1x1.
Right.
Now, I am fairly certain that this bridge will act as a wall.
We'll test it out.
We should be able to get away with it.
Like, do you see how that cow is back there now? right?
I like how you can go under. I was a little concerned that you wouldn't be able to go under
Mm.
this bridge because of how low it is, but I'm glad that you can.
Hell horses are just... Okay, I'm gonna do it from in here.
Should we brand the cows?
We should brand the cows.
I'm just gonna end up killing them.
Yeah, the cows are a means to an end, and that
This
end is leather.
is a place called Heavy House of Leather. This is sort of like the level that no one's supposed to really see.
I'm not sure why it's happening, but your mic volume is sort of fluctuating. It's good now, and then all of a sudden it'll go really loud, and then it'll come back down.
Oh wow.
So I'm not
I
sure
don't
what's
know.
causing that.
Maybe I'm turning my head and speaking into the microphone too loud.
No, because it gets staticky to the point where we can like hear the fan or the, like of your computer
wow.
or something, like, and then it goes away. I wonder if something's
Maybe
automatically
there's a setting.
adjusting it.
So I don't know for people that are used to watching our streams. This is the first time that we are using a different service.
Mm-hmm.
So we used Discord, ran into lots of problems.
Discord has been really, really horrible the last few streams in a row. So
now this is a completely new service that we're using, and I mean, so far so good. But if you're saying that my microphone keeps changing the settings, maybe in the settings here that changes my.
mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, here it is. It's called automatically adjust volume.
Right.
Uncheck that. Now I'm scared. There's like 4 more items here.
I remember Skype used to do that sort of thing too.
Yeah, automatically join audio by computer when joining a meeting. Sure. Always mute microphone when joining a meeting. No. Enable audio device feature synchronization. Don't know what that is. Okay, I think that one setting should do it.
And hey, Darius, what's going on? I'm just reading in GL Freedom because I announced just before the show that we're going live, and then we got a bunch of people saying, "What's that? What's what?" And then, "What's so interesting about watching people play a game that isn't really interesting to play?" Says a guy who's playing this game. Goodness.
Well.
Oh, you just woke up and have been waiting for us to stream so that you can send us gifts. Ooh, what kind of gifts?
Ooh, does that gifts include lemons?
Lemons.
I've been collecting lemons. I feel like one day I'll have enough lemons to make enough lemonade to get my beverage skill.
JCast, thanks for the bits. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
So for brewing wine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you need like, because you know how wine, when you put it into barrels and you just leave it there, it'll like get better quality over time. So does your beverage making actually make a difference there? Because eventually the wine's just going to get good quality over time anyway, right?
See, I have no idea. I would like to know how it works.
Yeah, we'll have to figure all this out.
Does a barrel quality, does a type of barrel, does the wood of the barrel make a difference? Does putting that barrel in different situations, can you put the barrel in a barrel rack? Does that help the wine grow? Is putting it in a mine change anything in the house?
I've heard that if you put it in a house that's in a mine, that makes a difference.
In a positive way?
Yeah, in a positive way. Wait a minute. Okay, so I broke the fence.
Oh, do it.
I cannot get out of there, so it blocks me from going out. But then the
Nice.
cow just got out. Wait,
Oh no,
did the cow get out?
there's only one cow in
There it
there.
goes. Yeah. Well, there was a bull as well. But right away, immediately as the thing bashed, the cow got out.
No.
And I'm carrying so much that I'm walking really slow.
I got it.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I really hope they fix this mouse issue soon.
Still having the mouse issue, huh? I thought there was a fix for it. I just can't remember what it is.
No. No, there. Look, see that? Like, all of a sudden, I'm looking the exact opposite way than I was walking. That's just weird. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna have to make that pen a 1x1.
Does that change my plan?
I wonder, could we finish, like, if we finish the bridge, then put the wall back, will we still get that bug where we can't walk up the bridge?
Yeah, it does seem like it's just there.
That kind of sucks.
It does kind of suck.
Yeah, the mouse issue, the mouse issue is so annoying. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not the mouse. It's definitely the game.
Yeah.
The devs have acknowledged the issue and are trying to come up with a way of fixing it, but haven't yet figured it out.
Missing beam.
What am I missing? I'm missing ribbons.
You're missing ribbons. I'm missing beams. There, that should be enough for us, right?
And Silverwolf, you're saying that this issue's happening all over at the memorial where one of the hedges are 2 and yeah, and that one's finished, yeah. All right, well, it looks like we're going to have to shorten that pen, that one pen.
I guess that's okay. I can live with that.
But then we're also going to want a bridge on the other side, no?
So that's a question. Will this next fence wall stop us from crossing the next tile?
And who should you send the gifts to? That would obviously be me.
But if you would rather not send it to Adam, there is another person you could send it to. But I guess it makes more sense. You want it to be on camera.
Right. There it is. I'm on camera. There we go. Therefore.
I don't know why I had to think of that for you.
Oh, shafts is what we were missing.
Yeah, that sucks. We are out of.
We're out of shafts. Okay, so we're gonna have to cut a few of those.
I'll let you do the last couple things since it's a couple.
I'll cut the shafts. There we go. And then it sounds like we're gonna have to head over to the mailbox. Okay, how many shafts do we need? We need 3 shafts, I think.
Well, I spent like a week creating all the materials for this bridge.
Is that right?
Except the ribbons, because I could not do the ribbons.
Ah, yes.
And every time you're like, yeah, I'll get to the ribbons. Just can you make me? What did you say? Can you make me a
smelter?
A smelter. You're like, I just need a smelter because I gotta make a lot of iron, and then you want to mine a lot of iron, and then because it's going to take a lot of iron to make these ribbons.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made you a smelter, and then
Yeah.
came back a few days later. You're like, oh yeah, haven't made them yet.
Nope.
I will. All right. I'm just waiting to make this bridge. All I need is ribbons. Yeah. And then I think the last time you're like, yep, oh no.
What's oh no?
There we go. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm getting that glitch. What's happening?
Yeah.
Is that the other wall?
It is.
Uh,
But it only seems to be happening sometimes.
no, it's happening to me all the time. Goodness. I'm pretty sure we've built walls below bridges before.
Maybe just not this low.
I wonder what would happen if we tried to arch the bridge.
I just didn't want to.
Yeah, I know. I know. It might be a tad much for gifts. Nereus, what did you do? Oh, I see. If I turn around and walk backwards up the bridge, then it works. There's the fix.
I didn't go up backwards.
I couldn't get up the bridge going forwards.
I just got off there.
Oh, okay, I see. It hitched me once and then let me up.
I went up there, so that's fine. Not perfect.
So Silverwolf has a suggestion. If we extend the building out by one, we could put the
No, that
bridge
is true.
over
Yeah,
by
that's
one.
true. That is true. Then we'd have to destroy the bridge.
We would have to get all the mats for the bridge again. Okay, well that's something for another day, I'd say.
That might be able to solve the other side, I guess.
Yes, but that makes sense. We could easily do that. I think that is something that probably we should do to fix this issue.
I just thought it was so cool that you could have a bridge go under a bunch of fences.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't seem like the game wants me to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out by another. Oh. Yeah, I suppose we could. So like make this come out to here. Oh, there goes my mouse again. Which way am I looking now? Goodness. Okay, so yeah, make this tile a building, extend the building out to there, and put the bridge one tile over. That'll work, I think.
It would. But this bridge is sort of working.
Mm-hmm. Sort of. For now.
Get up there. I can get up there with a cart. I finish the walls. I can create some kind of system here for my leather. I think we have a little bit of leather. I'll create some, what do you think? Bulk storage bins, a shelf. I'll figure out what I need.
Mm-hmm.
Create my leather stuff. You can put leather items. What to think of the best way to store leather items. That makes sense to me. How's the sound now that I switched that setting?
Yeah, the sound's perfect now. It hasn't fluctuated at all. So that's good.
Good. All right. So now that that's done, there is definitely the need for our central building with all of the materials that are going to go into it.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that has prevented, because like we're talking about how I haven't really been able to get to those ribbons. So on that topic, one of the things that's contributed to that is that I found another game that has grabbed my attention. Oh, let's head over to the mailbox because Nereus' gift has arrived.
Ooh,
5 items. 5 items.
wow.
Every so often, like a gem of a game just comes out of nowhere and just grabs my attention for a while.
Which game you should stream it?
Maybe I will at some point. The game is called Mordau. OSRS. You've been playing some OSRS recently. What is OSRS? Yeah, Mordau. You've heard of that, eh? Brand new game by an indie developer. However, it
Mm.
feels very much like a AAA quality game. Oh, old school RuneScape.
Oh, nice.
Did you ever play RuneScape, Brian?
A few times, yeah.
Oh goodness, Narias, this is way too much. My goodness.
What is too much?
Okay, so we got from Narias a trowel with 101 WOA on it. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Silly hell horses.
I'll stay over here.
Oh, a scythe. That'll be good for you with 81 Circle of Cunning.
Wow.
A rare rope tool, enchanted as well with WOA and COC, 80 quality. A rare shovel, 91 quality. And
What?
There's, no, sorry, 86 quality with 91 Wind of Ages. And also a Bronze Rune of Libla. I'll have to check what that is. And a saw with 76 WOA on it.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Narias. These things are going to come in real big handy. I'm 100% certain of it.
Wow. We are going to
I am going to pass you. Well, I'm going to attack your hell horse. I am going to pass you.
place it in the.
For sure. Okay. For sure, you're the scythe man.
Thank you.
Let's see. You could probably use the shovel more than I could. Or at least it'll probably make it go faster for you.
Ooh.
Not sure. What do I have a... What's your quality saw?
Let me see. Let me save my tool belt. My saw is 50 quality.
Okay, so you can have that one. And if you don't mind, I'll take the trowel and the rope tool. I think I have the rope skill, right?
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
I have at least 50, if not 60. Okay, there, I have 60 ropes. So the rope tool will be good, and the trowel. Oh, there goes my mouse again. The trowel will be great for
Wow.
building and
That's
also
crazy.
archaeology. Thank you so much, Narias. You're saying for
Yeah,
some reason you had extra rares for shovels and rope tools.
Let's use some of them and let's plan our building.
Yeah, it looks like Silverwolf, you're working on something over here, or is it Chica? A flattened area there, some chopped trees.
I love the apples hanging from the apple trees now.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
color is really nice.
Hmm.
Just the splash of color on the trees.
Yep. They totally add immersion. Oh, there was one thing about that. I think it was Catspur had brought it up on the forums.
Mm.
Because I think it's when they get to overaged, you can't, even though
There's no
even though they're like you can harvest from them. Once it gets to overaged, the harvest option doesn't appear, so you are forced to prune the tree, and then the harvest will appear.
Right.
So when they
Right.
added the visual effects, it's like the overage trees won't have the visual like fruits, but then when you
Right.
prune them, the fruits just sort of pop on there. Because it seems like the graphics are sort of associated with the fact that you can harvest them.
Yep. Yep. I would assume so.
Right. So she thought it was just weird that, for her, it was like she was walking through a grove of trees and she would completely miss out on grabbing the ones that are overaged because they weren't showing. So she wasn't really looking for them. So she thought that it would be better if they showed at overaged, even though you wouldn't be able to harvest them until you pruned it. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I It's tough because I think it would be more confusing if you could see them but couldn't harvest them. Maybe if they were shown, but they were, look a little overripe or rotten or something.
So completely different.
But then the problem is that would be a completely different state
Right.
for every harvest item. Could they do that?
I mean, maybe they just
Or
need to rethink that. Sorry, go ahead.
Or should they just make it so overage allows you to harvest?
Right. That's what I was
What
about
would
to
the
say.
reasoning be for that?
I mean,
Because then the next one's shriveled, and then of course, it's too late at that point.
right. I guess the question is, what is the reason for not allowing you to harvest overaged? And then when you prune them, it all of a sudden allows you to? Like, that to me sounds a little bit strange.
Growth. Like another thing would be allow to prune, but then you need to give it time before you can harvest.
Okay.
Allow those fruits to grow on the tree.
Yeah, maybe.
Either way, I don't mind. So where exactly are you wanting to have this building?
So yeah, you see where I am. I'm thinking in this vicinity. Like, my initial thought was that we would have sort of a bridge that connects from where you are standing about up there to the building, and some ramp system that allows us to get down. And of course, we'll have this side ramp here as well. I was thinking of like having the building go right up to this spot here. Let me get my hammer out so I can lay it out. So the building might come something like this, and there might be a door. You come down this ramp and there's a door. I'm looking at the ground now. Come down this ramp and then there will be a door into the building over here, or maybe the second tile or something like that.
Right.
I'm not sure how big it should be, but we can go as big as we might want it to go.
Sure, but how do you want to do the ramp system?
Good question. See, I'm not sure where we'll need to make it go. Like, I think ramps can only go 20 slope, right? And this hill is 30 plus 40 plus 30, so that's 70. So we can come down to 50, which would be the top of the second floor.
2 floors is enough for me.
Okay.
In the sense, I mean, there could be 2 levels, and that I don't the other levels.
Now I feel like the bridge is going to have to come down to the top of the second level, like to the third floor. The initial bridge. So there needs to be a third,
right,
like the roof or whatever. But then right away we can have it come. We don't have to have a floor up there. We just have to have a landing so that we can start another bridge that brings us down to the floor.
That's fine.
And are you thinking 2 floors vaulted ceiling? So it'd be like one big room with 2 floors tall?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now in this building, we're talking about storing pretty much every bulk and every bulk material, and so we'll need a place for all of the stone, like
Yep.
sandstone, marble, and all that stuff like that. And the bricks, we'll have to have a mortar making station. We'll have to have logs and shafts and that stuff. I was thinking of even just storing the bulk metal. So like all the low quality metal that we're making nails and ribbons and all that stuff out of. Can you think of anything else that might go into this building?
I mean, pretty much everything, all the raw materials
Yeah, all the raw materials, but what like it like
and all the bulk materials.
that's three main stations that I just described there. Like the wood, stone, metal.
We'll have 2 floors and a bunch. I mean, it's big enough that you make it maybe 2 more wide.
Okay. Now, is there going to be 2 floors? Or is there going to be one main floor with a vaulted ceiling to 2 high?
We would have to do. I mean, basically 2 floors. There's the main floor and then a second level.
Each of them one, like with no vaulted ceilings. Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, yeah, let's do a vaulted ceiling.
Okay.
2 levels in total. The bottom one has a vaulted ceiling, and the top one doesn't even need to have a ceiling.
Right, so the top one could be just like the roof.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. So today that mouse issue is actually quite pronounced. It's
You
happening.
think it's because you've been playing Mordo
No.
that it like has changed the way that you move the mouse around?
I don't think so.
What do you think about making the bridge to the ground like on this side, like how I did on my?
Right. So,
Yeah.
like on that side that you were. See, I was
Yeah.
thinking. See, it's gonna come off of like. I was thinking of maybe. So okay, there's two options. One is to make it come right out of where the stables is,
I mean, we're gonna have that to the second level.
to the second level, and
And
then we can maybe jut this one out by one, and have it come down the rest of the way over here.
But let's say, okay, think of it. Let's say you're at the bottom level with a cart. So I'm like in here, and I go, oh, I need to make it up to the second level
Right.
for items. What is the quickest way to do that?
Huh. And from the second level, we would need. Whoops. How many tiles does the bridge need to be coming from the top of the second floor?
It's going to be what, 40?
I feel like it
Is
almost.
each one is what, 30 or 40?
No, the first one is 33, and then the next one is 30, so that's 63. So you would need
63.
a 4 tile long bridge for that. Oh goodness.
Right. So that's why I was thinking this side going up.
I have another idea. How about let's remove this plan and let's add it here. Let me just think here for a second. What am I thinking here? Yes, this is what I'm thinking. Because from I see. Oh, never mind. You would need another extra. Okay, this is getting a little bit out of control. But here, let's listen to this idea and tell me if this makes sense. Beginning to feel like hell horses are just not worth it.
They are.
They are, but they're not. Okay, so we need to plan this out like this. Okay. So the first bridge will come down to the top of this tile right above me.
Yeah.
And then we can have another bridge that goes down to this tile that'll only be 1 story tall. So you'll be on the top of the first story.
Okay.
Oh, and then, oh my goodness, I don't even know.
Okay. So
What were you
if
thinking?
you just removed all of that,
Yeah, okay.
instead, if we just leveled this tile over here,
Okay.
so we're going to have to do some
See,
cutting here.
The other thing is that I was thinking of putting my house down over here. And I'm not sure how I would then get into the storage building from...
Some bridges.
Not sure. Okay, we need to chop all this, eh?
Fortunate.
That's okay. At some point or another, I'm feeling like we can spend time replanting in strategic places.
So. All right, so let me just kill this one here. All right, so basically just one tile out, jutted out here.
So Narias, you were saying, I missed this message. Regarding the overaged ripe trees, it would probably be good to have a message pop up for new players saying that you must prune before harvest. Yeah, like, I agree, because I'll be honest, before reading that post, I don't think I knew that. And I've been playing this game for a long time, so if I didn't know that, I couldn't imagine new players figuring that stuff out. And in terms of the mouse issue, I read something. One of the devs responded with what they think it is. But now I can't remember what it was. But somebody's looking into it, trying to figure it out.
How is that?
I don't know.
All right, so put a tile here.
Okay. Wait, where's my...
And the bridge would come down to here.
Okay.
So we would also have to flatten this one out.
Right, because so you're talking from the 4th floor, from the top of the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
The 3rd floor, it's gonna have to be 4 tiles
one
long.
sticking out.
So maybe we can make the building 1 more tile wide, so it sort of like matches with it.
Right. And you can put stuff under the bridge, like you could make an entrance from here if you need.
Ah, right. That's true. That's true. And I guess these tiles don't actually need to be flat either. Just the
Nope.
ending tile, just the ending border.
That's right. Which means we have to level this one.
Right. I also never did forestry until recently either. So now that I'm starting to work on forestry, it's good to know all these little things.
Yeah. I used to have the mouse issue a lot back in the day, and I don't really have it now.
Did you get a new mouse?
No. In fact, I'm using the mouse that I used a long time ago because my new mouse broke.
Okay.
I do need a mouse because this mouse is a little broken. But I don't get that problem with it.
Hmm.
So maybe the trick is that in order for you to not have the problem with your mouse, you need to use an old broken mouse.
Right.
Like
Like, are you using your 605?
605. That's way too new. I think
Okay.
I'm
Well,
on that one
I knew you used to have that one, no?
completely broke. I'm using the G. Let me just confirm this.
I came this close to buying the new Logitech G302.
Okay, I'm completely using because the mouse is so old that the writing on it has worn off.
Okay. I think I'm using a 502. Yeah, I'm using the 502.
I think I'm using a G. Yes, okay. I'm using the Logitech G5.
Oh, okay. So you're using a 502 with no issues, whereas I'm using the 502 and I'm getting the issue every few minutes. So yeah.
Yeah, and I love this mouse, the G5.
Yeah?
Just that the cable is sort of half breaking.
Okay.
And every now and then, I'll hear Windows turning off the mouse and turning it back on.
I see.
Like it's unplugging and then plugging itself back in really quickly.
See, I really wanted to get a wireless mouse because, the wire does cause some issues in some circumstances. Not when I'm playing Wurm, but if I'm playing a first-person shooter or something, where I'll
Right.
pull the mouse all the way across in a quick motion and the wire gets caught on something.
I mean, the new wireless mouse for Logitech looks good.
Right. So I was looking at the 902 or whatever it is, the 901. I can't remember.
You can go that way. But
Which
there's
is
basically like a mouse like yours, but it's wireless.
the problem I have with it though is that the 502 has so many extra buttons. Right? Like there's
You
a
just
good
didn't want it.
there's a good 5 buttons on my thumb right here.
Mm.
Right? Like just on my left thumb there's 5 buttons. Whereas the 902 only has 2 buttons.
So you want less buttons.
No, I want 5 buttons.
So
5.
get the Logitech 502 Lightspeed.
What's that?
It's the wireless version of your mouse.
Oh, okay.
The Lightspeed wireless gaming mouse.
I see. So it's exactly the same as this mouse except for wireless.
Yep.
And is it new? Is it the new one? Like that? It has the new.
Brand new. Just came out.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to look
Actually,
into
it
that
might
then.
not even be out yet. I think it's like pre-order.
Oh,
So it's called the G502 Lightspeed wireless gaming mouse. You can take a look. Looks exactly the same as your mouse, I believe.
okay.
But it's wireless, and it's compatible with their system. Why? How did this turn into like a Logitech?
I know.
It's compatible with their wireless mouse pad system. So they have like a mouse pad charging station. You leave the mouse on it, and the mouse never loses battery.
Interesting.
Battery built in, it's like lithium ion.
I did hear though that the mouse pad that charges those mouses are like
Maybe.
they're only available in the States, and if you want them in Canada, they're like 5 times as much money.
Expensive. Yeah, that's a possibility. I haven't actually looked into that.
I'll have to look at what's the price point on this phone on this.
It looks expensive.
Yeah, that's kind of expensive.
One of those ones where you want to wait for a deal.
Oh goodness.
Wait for a Black Friday sale. Or I mean, who am I? I'm using a G5.
I mean, they have the 903, but
This mouse is from 2007
again,
or something.
only 2 buttons on the side. Anyway,
There was multiple revisions of the G502. Like multiple, I think two or three different revisions over the years. So that's why they all have different names, like the 502 Proteus Spectrum or the 502 Hero or the 5, and every name was like a different year they released a new one.
right.
And this year it just happens that the one they're releasing, the 502, the G502 Lightspeed, is wireless.
Nice. Because they did do a big upgrade with their wireless mouses to make it so that the input lag is like super low. I think it's like
And even the old one, so I had one. I had the six. What did you say? The 602?
Yeah, the 602 or 603. I can't remember.
G602. Am I thinking right? Yeah. So I had that one, and it was very good. Like you had different modes. You can put it into like performance mode, and like the latencies virtually, or you can change it to I don't know, like a battery saver mode, basically.
Oh, okay.
Battery, because they use 2AA, would last for a very long time.
Right. I was looking at the G305, which is also like a brand new wireless that like runs on AA batteries.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to last forever, like 300 hours or something like that.
Yeah. Mine was a long time. The problem with that mouse is that the left mouse button stopped clicking properly. As apparently, well, like it was a defect of that mouse.
That's a
That's
problem.
a number of years, but now I'm back with my old trusty G5. When did 5 come out?
So JCast, you're saying you don't care for all the various buttons that can change settings, often accidentally, yeah. But you like the weights. You know, one setting that I really, really like is the ability to change the sensitivity on the fly. That's particularly for first-person shooters, though. You know, in some situations, I want to increase the setting, like the sensitivity, without having to go into the options or whatever. Okay, so what are we doing here? We got the building sort of like laid out. I do like this. I think this is fine.
Yeah, think of this. Here's an article.
Okay.
Logitech G5 laser mouse. It's from 2005.
Okay.
We're still using that mouse.
Okay.
The buttons are still great. The weight is still great. It was customizable weight. I would have no problem with this mouse if the wire was not broken. So I don't know. Like, people go through a lot of mice a year, and I use this all the time. And look how beat up it is. It's like the paint is worn off, but the buttons are amazing. Like, none of the buttons are broken. It works just as good as when I got it.
Nice. Okay, so I feel like we literally have no mats for this building. Like, we have the sandstone shards up there. What are you thinking about sandstone? Do you think that would go well here for this building?
Sandstone's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
We have all those sandstone bricks. Rock.
Yeah, we'll have to cut those into bricks. But the one thing we lack is mortar.
I always just assume that we have mortar because it's been so many years that we just did. I guess we have none.
See, from your perspective, we magically always had mortar. From my
always had more.
From my perspective, I was constantly buying more mortar all the time. Mortar was something that I just had a constant influx.
We have to make our own mortar now, don't we?
Whoops. And yeah, and you were just like, oh, look, we have mortar.
Well, let's go to the clay, I guess.
Okay.
Make some mortar.
Now to collect the clay, I'm on your cart and you're on my cart.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm thinking to collect the clay, we should have rafts as opposed to.
Do we need sand or dirt? No, we need dirt, right?
We need sand.
Oh, it's only sand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now sand, we're gonna have to go. I think there's a desert nearby.
Wait. I have a piece. I have sand.
Oh, you have sand. How many sand?
Just one. Let's
Oh,
make.
okay. I see what you're saying. Make a sand pit. Yes.
Pick a spot, I guess.
Okay. Do we want to do that on deed?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, we have a ton of dirt, so. But is there any place that we need to dig down?
Any place that we need to dig down.
Because if there is, we may as well just cover it in sand, dig it all down.
I mean, we pretty much did all the digging already.
Okay.
Why not here? This looks like a good spot.
Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. This spot here has been dug and dug and dug, and we have been neglecting putting back the dirt. So I am going to just do that.
All right.
There we go.
How much mortar are we making? How much mortar are we making?
Good question. How much mortar are we making?
Does sound like a good question.
I mean, we're looking at a 4x5, was it? That building there that we were.
Yeah, something like that.
And we need it to be 2 stories tall at least, not to mention any interior stuff that we want to do. So what is that? That's 18 by 2, which is 36, by 20, which is 6, 7, 20. It's like 1,000. We're looking at about 1,000 for that one building. We're definitely going to be continuing to make more and more mortar type houses, so.
That is true.
I mean, how many sand do we need for 1,000 mortar? I think it's only something like 50, right?
Something like that. Not that much.
Mm-hmm. And you're making sand now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have dirt like to fill in?
So there's a ton of dirt in the crate racks up there.
Oh, I think the cart that you took my cart?
I did drop that crate of dirt somewhere.
Well, you dropped my crate of dirt somewhere?
I dropped it because I wanted to pick up a raft so that I could carry all this clay.
Let me find a...
Hey, Catspur, how's it going?
Hey, Catspur.
Welcome to the stream.
Doesn't it make it easier to plop down now that we can safely sit in Wurm?
Hmm. Now, do you actually need you need something to sit in? You can't just sit on the ground now, can you?
You can't. That's one thing that I wish they did.
Yeah.
definitely like to sit on the ground, like in front of uh, front of a fire in your house. That'd be nice.
Well, you haven't missed all that much. Uh, we built a bridge on the building there and found out that you can't build a bridge over top a wall because what happens is as you're walking up the bridge, you glitch out as you walk over the wall. So that was annoying.
Isn't the meditate sitting just like the biggest tease? Like they already have the ability to sit in the game, but you can't sit in the game. You can just watch people pray or meditate.
But if you sat on the ground, you get your pants dirty, and most people only have one pair. I
And
suppose.
that is the perfect reason to for tailors to make more pants.
Yeah, exactly.
Now where did you put this dirt?
Any of the crate racks will have crates
Any of
and crates of dirt. If I had to estimate, we probably like how much if a full crate rack full of dirt, how much dirt is that? 9,000?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, so we have well over 2 crate racks full of dirt. Well over. So not quite 3, but more than 2.5, I'd say. So we're talking over 20,000 dirt is on our deed right now in crates.
Yep, I'm in a pocket of a big tailor. That's, uh, somebody really has way too much pants and they can't sell it.
Yep.
So the real question is, does anybody want to buy some pants? Don't all speak up at once.
And Catsper, the other thing that we're working on is we are really, really low on mats, like on everything, because since we started out, we haven't really had that time to regain, like, all the mortar that we used to have or the bricks and all that stuff. So, in order to build this building that we want to build, we need a ton of mortar. And so, we're still. These hell horses, I'm telling you.
It's still attacking me from here.
I think they're more
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
pain than they're worth. I know. And we're kind of refusing to go the route of buying. We kind of want to make our own way.
Yeah, when we left to come to release, we left all of our mats back on Factional Fight Village.
There's probably a ton of mortar back there.
Well, it'll be good for us to make mortar.
Yeah.
Get back in the swing of things. And talking about that, back into the swing of things, Retrograde finally mentioned that he's going to be streaming Wurm.
Hmm.
And I think that's coming up, isn't it? Like the end of May, as long as it hasn't been rescheduled, which is only in a few weeks.
Yeah, no, I think it's next week, isn't it?
The end, like the 28th.
I think they said the 24th.
24th, the 28th, the 24th.
Let me see. What did they say? Let's bring up the Vale International. The 25th of May, Saturday. So that's next week, eh?
And the 25th, which is next Saturday, which I guess that does make sense. Retrograde will be streaming Wurm. I'm assuming he has not announced what he will be doing.
So here's what they did announce. They said, this stream will be an introduction to all of us available. We expect the dev roster to vary depending on availability, but it will be hosted by yours truly, Retrograde. So that's pretty much all that's been said about it. I didn't see this sentence, actually, the last time I read the post.
What did he say? What did he say?
We are also looking at adding some sweet Wurm merch via Streamlabs store.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading that.
Okay.
That'll be fun. See what they come up with.
Yeah, the date is Saturday, May 25th. The time is 10 p.m. GMT. So what does that mean for us? Is that 5 or is that 4? 10 p.m. GMT.
Wait, sorry.
Wurm G-strings.
Wurm G-strings?
Did you see that? Bloody Drongo has a Wurm G-string.
What?
It's like a G-string that like has the Wurm Online, the old logo on it.
Wait, what? Where did he get a G-string with the Wurm logo on it?
I'm not sure.
He make his own G-string.
I think that there was like an unofficial Wurm merchandise store. And I'm not sure if he started it or somebody else started it. I don't know. But this was like way long time ago where just like people, you know how you can get logos printed onto random stuff and then sell them?
Yep.
Yeah, that they basically just did that. They started a Wurm logo merchandise store.
That's funny. Oh, you can't unload on deed. Maybe one tile away from the deed.
Maybe it was an official one. I'm not sure.
I'm sure Adam will pick it up.
What are we talking about? One tile on deed?
Oh, you got to look at local.
Oh. Okay. Permissions to unload. Manage.
Let's watch. As Adam looks through the permission system.
I thought I had one for you, Silverwolf. Maybe I don't. Okay. Oops. Okay.
So anyway, the real question here, as Adam gets his whole permissioning, what do you want to see Retro actually do? What would... I guess there's really two questions, because he's going to finally stream, and people are going to be expecting something. We're all going to be expecting him to... We're all going to be expecting to watch something that's, in our minds, needs to happen. What needs to happen in order for you to be satisfied with his first stream? Now, a lot of pressure on Retro, but really, there's a lot of pressure on it.
No pressure, but there's a lot of pressure.
But, so what do you think, Adam? He streams. What are you needing him to do in order for you to come out satisfied at the end of his stream?
My hope is
how
that...
can you new buttons?
So you know how every so often a dev, it could be either Retro or a dev, mentions how there's all these long-term plans. Like there's what we're going to be working on next, and then there's what we're going to be doing after that, and then what we're going to be doing for the long run. But I don't feel like any of that has been mentioned about exactly what they're working on. So I think that in order for this, like for me to be satisfied with this stream, there needs to be some kind of reveal about at least the major direction points that the game, that the devs have like planned for the game.
All right, so we got okay, so that's what you're saying. There's got to be something revealed, something that he can showcase, or something that can be said. Here, he should be highlighting upcoming updates and patches. And what else we got? We should not be seeing him just playing the game normally.
Right.
Retro, you can't just play the game and get away with that. Huh? Can't just be enjoying Wurm.
No, don't get me wrong. They could play the game normally as long as there's a conversation going on top of the game regarding something that's related to the development of it.
So addressing Epic. So say about Epic. I think, what if the answer to that, so addressing Epic, is we have no plans to further develop Epic?
Right.
What if that's their answer?
That, yeah. I think that would disappoint a lot of people.
Yes, and then what would happen?
I mean, they can't say. I can't believe that the actual official response to the Epic question would be that the plan is to not do anything with Epic. Like, I feel like something needs to be done. Like, I know that players are crying out for just an elevation reset. Give us a new elevation map.
They did that already.
Yeah, they did that. Apparently, they're not happy with the map. I don't know what the issue is, but it sounds like it's just very bland and flat. But I don't know for sure because we don't play on there, so... Epic should just be killed, honestly, says Alan Key.
See, it's tough. It's tough to decide with Epic. I mean, listen, if your friends won't leave Epic because their skills aren't going to be as good as here, as on Epic, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
From what I understand, though, when you get up to a certain level, like when your skills are kind of high, it's actually faster to skill up on Freedom. And I was thinking through that kind of logic because I do recall them saying that skill gain is doubled on Epic. And then there's also the curve. So like together, it almost feels like you should be getting experience faster. But I can now understand why. And the reason is because of the skill curve. Like, right, imagine you're like mining, for example, right?
Right.
In order to get a successful skill up, you need to almost fail your action. It needs to come out at 1 to 40 quality. But if your skill is, let's say, 90, but then the skill curve makes your skill actually like 99.8 or something like that. Because your skill is so high effectively, it is very hard to get low quality results. So even though your skill is actually 90, to skill up, like it's because it's so effectively so much higher, you're never going to get the low quality that you need to get skill ticks. So once your skill's around 90 or so, it's like nearly impossible to move it. So people then come over to Freedom to skill up from 90 to 99 before going back to Epic. Oh yeah, body stats. That's not the yeah body stats. I can imagine are just horrible to gain.
Anyway, yeah, that's a tough question to answer.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say, I mean, if it was me, if it was us, it was painful to leave all of our stuff behind.
Mm-hmm.
It would be painful to leave skills behind.
Yep.
I feel like we would have done it though. You know, at some point, if you want to continue to play Wurm and you want to leave Epic, just sort of have to leave.
Mm-hmm. It's true. At the same
Poor
time,
friend.
though, a lot of
Not
people,
great.
yeah, a lot of people are not like us. I think.
Yeah. Anyway, so that this is what we would want or need Retro to showcase on the stream. What would make you feel completely and utterly disappointed at the end of the stream?
You know what
I
would
mean,
be
Amber already said
Sorry, go ahead.
she would feel completely and utterly disappointed if all he did was play Wurm.
Right.
How about you, Adam?
You know, I'd be disappointed, and this is nothing that the devs would do. I'd be disappointed if, you know how the forums can get really toxic and people can get like really bashy towards the devs. I'd be very disappointed if the audience sort of did that on the stream, you know, because I really feel like that's a risk that the devs are taking, that they're going to put themselves out there live on stream. They're opening themselves up to a barrage of, you know, why aren't you doing this to fix the game? Why aren't you doing that to fix the game? You guys are failing at this, that, and the other thing, and you know, that would not be good, I don't think.
I think it's tough. It's tough to stream sometimes, right? So if you're not a charismatic person or a person that's kind of, if you're hesitant when you're streaming and you just happen to be like one of the devs or something, a volunteer dev, and like what you know is going on is not really coming across on the screen. I think that's why a lot of developers, because they're not like, they're developers, they're people behind the camera. That's why a lot of them don't want to stream. Right?
I mean, Casper, you were saying that Legend of Aria, they do a weekly stream where they talk to the community, answer questions, also share their plans. This would definitely be something that I think that we would all expect to happen for this type of stream, where question answer, sort of the community can chime in, and hopefully it all like sort of meshes together to something that's valuable for the community.
Yeah. So, and good morning, Dude Jensen.
Dude Jensen, what's going on?
Yes, it's morning somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So in saying that, so it seems like most people are thinking like they require some form of new information from this stream, something, by either them communicating it through them just discussing it, or by showing something that's new. Hey, Fuzzy Rubric.
Thanks for that sub.
Thanks for the sub.
8-month sub. Awesome. Thank you so much.
The question really is, what new, like, so we want to hear some sort of roadmap. What do you want to hear them say that they're working on? What do you want them to be working on? What would make you so happy if they said, we are working on our long-term goal is our roadmap looks like fill in the blank.
So now we get to talk about our wish list.
This is our wish list
This
section.
is our wish list, yeah.
Everybody's wish list. Tell Retro right now what he should be saying on the stream next week.
Huh. I mean, the way that it sounds like, you know, what he put on the news post was, the stream will be an introduction of all of us available. So it's like they're treating, like, I mean, it sounds like it's just going to be, here's the dev team, and so does this, and so does that. This is their job, and et cetera, et cetera. But you're right. Like, you know, if they finish the first stream and there hasn't been a, you know, like any hint on what they're working on, that would be a little bit disappointing, I'd say. But what do we want them to say? What do we want them to say that they're working on?
While you think of that, think. So there's a lot of things that I suggested over the years. I'd like them to work on.
Okay, just a few things.
Just a few. Village update system. Village. If they can.
Yeah.
If any listening. But one thing that I really thought would have been something that would have affected everybody, something that everybody would take part in, is the item enhancement system that I thought up.
Okay. The item enhancement system.
I can't remember what I called it, but where by level 8, it's basically like a crafting update. Imagine that they come out and they say, you know, we're taking crafting to the next level.
Okay.
We are, like, we know how crafting works in Wurm. It's versatile. It's, you know, it's something. It's like makes the game basically in Wurm. It's why a lot of people play this game. Mm-hmm. Imagine they can take that, the concept of crafting, and they can add upon it to make all items more unique, to give all players more options. And have it affect every item that you can create. It would be, I don't know, it would be insane.
The question is, like, how would you balance that with what we already have? Like, for example, we already can get action timers to be like super fast, and we can get extra skill gain, and so on and so forth. We can increase the material quality, like just so many things already. Adding another layer to that system would only make things go faster or be better, or, you know, how do you balance that with what we already have?
Could be anything. I mean, what could the enhancements be on the items?
Like you're talking about like something in addition to the ruin system that is already like.
And I never really liked the ruin system. Ruin system's fine.
Okay.
But it was something. It almost seems like a bonus, like a side bonus for people that want to, you know, take part in some action.
Okay.
It's not. You wouldn't say, oh yeah, we have the ruin system. The ruin system's part of the crafting. Would you ever say that?
No, it's not really.
No, it's not part of crafting. It's like that extra bonus. It's more a part of, you know, fighting. It's more a part of combat mechanics. The whole system of, I don't know, that pillar, if you may, has nothing to do with crafting. So it affects crafting in the end. So imagine you could take your carpentry or your fine carpentry or any of the skills, tailoring, leatherworking, and you can become more of like a master of something within that, the leatherworking or the blacksmithing field.
Right.
So you take all of the different crafting professions that we have, and now you can become specialized in something in there.
I see.
And let's say you'd have to make a choice. So let's say at level 50, you could make it your first choice based on a few options that they can present.
I like choices. I like if I choose one path, then that's the path that I can do certain things, but then somebody else could choose a different path, and that will allow them access to other things.
Choice. Almost like, how about this? At level 50, you can do something or obtain something or earn something that allows you to then carve out a special slot or a special something on all of these items that you can create. Let's say you're a carpenter, and I earn the right to modify my mallet. You could do it on a per item basis. I earn the right to modify my mallet. I become specialized in mallet making to allow me to modify that mallet in one way. I can choose which way I would like to modify this mallet.
And then from thereafter, you'll only be able to modify mallets that way, or you can choose the next time you make another mallet, you can just modify it in a different way.
How about you could earn the right to modify in other ways as well?
I see. So you'd have to so you would earn the right to modify mallets in a particular way, and then from thereafter, you can only do that until you earn other things.
You could, yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Or you can unlock, let's say you can unlock 5 different things that you could do to a mallet. And then later, if you wanted, you could unlock another 5 things in some other specialty field. And like at level 50, you could modify one of those ways on that mallet. And then at level 70, you can unlock, maybe you can put 2 things on that mallet.
Okay.
And at level 90, you could put 3 things on that mallet.
I see. That sounds pretty
But
cool.
you can only do it on that mallet. Now I have to learn specialty on another item. Every item, you just have to become specialized in that specific item to be able to craft like a better version of it.
So Alan keeps saying that he remembers that Rolf had introduced skill decay for this reason, so that he wanted people to like specialize, be like specialists or whatever. So this could be like something that differentiates one carpenter from another, like another system that sort of acts like that thing that specializes people into certain things. Like you would go to this one guy who has that ability to do that one thing, but this other guy over here can do this other thing.
Right. I think skill decay is just a way to keep things balanced in this game, but not a way for the players to feel like it's like the opposite. It's like a complete dev type of system. That's what a developer would think. We should just have skill decay, and then therefore things won't get out of hand in my world.
And Ryder, thank you so much for that raid, and welcome to the Ryder viewers.
Yeah. Hey, Ryder. What's going on?
Oh yeah, skill decay on its own is a bad idea. Like, I can see people getting really mad.
Yeah, it's like the developer section. I don't really, want to think of the next feature or the next system that, like, players want more to earn, not make it harder to earn what they already have. Anyway,
Casper earlier said that she'd like to see an improvement on the clunky characters. Um, I'd agree with
yeah,
that to a degree. I know that they have been working on smoothing out the animations. I kind of remember they were saying that when they added the head bobbing, they spent time smoothing out the animation so that the head bobbing wouldn't be so jarring.
that's right.
Um, but I know exactly what you're talking about, Catspur, and that's like just stand there for a second, stop doing the actions, and right. So you see how like your character kind of like looks like he's breathing, like
Yeah.
up and down, but it's very repetitive and very stiff looking.
I mean, it would be hard.
But you know how in other games where they like, you know, like even do you remember Guild Wars 2 had this thing where all of a sudden your character would start like spinning their weapon or
It's old school. This game is old school. They would have to replace everything. My guess is for Wurm to successfully replace like the avatars or successfully replace the animations, they would have to buy them.
I don't know if you'd have to replace the animations. You just need to sort of like add to them. And Jay Cass is saying the shoulders look dislocated. Yeah, or it looks like you're sort of shrugging a little bit.
If all you're saying is they need better animations, then the first thing is they would need one of two things, right? They would need to make sure that the skeleton that they have can support it. We don't know how the skeleton looks to support the animations. Could they and then they would need an animator, right? They need someone that knows how to animate
Yes.
very well, because what you're saying is, well, they already have animations, but we want better animations. So they would need to get somebody that's very good at creating animations, someone that's actually an animator, and create them from scratch. That would be a lot of money, I would assume. Or they buy animation packs that they can apply to the characters. So then the question is, are the skeletons in this game good enough to apply packs of animations? I don't even know if that's possible. Or do animations come paired with an avatar already,
Right.
or a specific skeleton?
I mean, maybe it is that they need new models. Like, for example, you know how other games would have like customizability to make your character like fatter or skinnier or taller or more muscular or whatever, like that sort of thing. Like I'd like to see something like that.
Yeah, so they'd have to buy completely new models,
Right, or get somebody or hire somebody.
or hire someone that can create them.
Like,
What do you guys think of this? Because so back in the day, I remember that there was like Wurm. So a lot of games these days just buy their graphics. Like a lot of the developers are just developers. They're not artists. So they outsource it. They get contractors. Bigger companies, medium-sized companies get contractors. Small indie companies, they'll just buy like graphics packs or buy buy avatars and implement it into their game. Do you care? So Wurm was very much against that. They want to make their own. They want to make everything from scratch. So everything that you see was made pretty much.
that's not true though. I feel like at some point or another they did outsource a bunch of models.
They outsourced, but in the way that that company created the stuff from scratch. So it wasn't that they wanted to do it all in-house. It's that they wanted it to be
exclusive.
not exclusive to Wurm. And a lot of games don't have exclusive stuff. They don't have like exclusive music. They don't have exclusive, like they buy they buy it from a website. And I've played many games where it's just like music that I heard from, a music sound library. It's fine. If Wurm were to buy like an already pre-made avatar that was so much better than us, but it's like not an exclusive avatar, and that avatar came with like better animations and then a way to change the face features or something in a better way, would you care? Would you care that it's
I totally
that animation is not unique to Wurm, or that
I totally wouldn't care. And the reason is because if you think about it, the systems that a lot of games have these days with customizing characters are so detailed that the number of combinations are just like, it makes it so like there's infinitely many different ways that a person can look, and so it's not like we're gonna have a system where we're like, oh, this customizing character system is all like exactly the same as this other game. Like a perfect example is, as I mentioned, I started playing this game called Mortar, and that game has probably the most immersive customizing system of any game that I've ever seen. And I'm sure that they outsourced that. I'm sure that they got that from somewhere else. Because I know that they're an indie developer, small team, and they outsource a lot of their stuff, I'm sure. So I think it'd be perfectly fine.
Because I feel like that would be the only way that we would ever get a new set of avatars, a new set of animations, new set of everything, is if they scrapped what we have, which sounds like people want, and start all over again.
The question is,
since we started, they've done that already.
The question is, does Wurm have the money for that, though?
It's a good question. I feel like they probably do. I mean, it's not going to be cheap, but they probably do.
You think so? You think they probably have the money for it?
There are different kinds. There are different levels of avatars and animations and stuff. They probably would need to shop around. But there's a lot of people that make that stuff as well. Now, I don't know. I really don't know what they do. All I know is that they would not be able to do that in-house.
Unless they hired somebody who has those skills.
Well, back in 2012, before they did the model overhaul, and I believe they did one even before the one that we remember. So this must be, they've done it. They've had at least three, if not four different
models.
Our models.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What?
I think it's 3. Yeah.
And so we remember the Robin Hood green people.
Yeah.
And there was very, very little animations, hardly any, and the animations were sort of broken.
Yeah.
And at that point, I feel like we were basically saying the same thing. We need Wurm to get better animations. We were saying different things, like we need our characters to be able to sit down on horses. We need our characters to be able to move when we're doing actions. When we dig, we want to see them dig.
More importantly, we also wanted to see everybody look different and have the ability to customize our own appearances and wear armor and that sort of stuff.
But I remember also thinking, but that's not why we play this game. We play this game for just the whole concept of Wurm. We play this game because it's so diverse. And yet, like within that year, they implemented the new avatars, and then they implemented, the ability to sit down on horses and carts, and they started adding the animations in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like not part of that. The conversation that we had back then is not part of the conversation that we had now. Now it's like, okay, they implemented it, but it is old. It's looking old, not looking great. Games these days have caught up and then surpassed what they have in this game. How much are you willing for them to invest in updating the avatars before you say it's too much money and too much time?
Well, definitely don't want them to go bankrupt for animations and models. I mean,
who has that discussion?
Piando has a good point. He says, the reason I love Wurm is the amount of skills it has, over 133 skills, and also the action and interaction you could do compared to a lot of other games, right? So, there is an essence to Wurm that goes beyond the graphical things that we see here, and it's a testament to the fact that we saw a lot of growth in the game even before we got these new fancy models. People were willing to play this game when we all looked like stiff Robin Hood characters and we didn't have that many animations and stuff. I look at animations and models like icing on the cake. I know a lot of other people don't, but there is an essence to this game that goes beyond just the graphical looks of it.
Have we ever had friends that wouldn't play because of the graphics of the avatar?
Maybe it was a part of it, but I think the major reason why we that people said that they couldn't play is mostly the menu system and the interface, right? The fact that there's all these windows with all these words in them, and there's the event window and the skills tab, and then there's your inventory, which is just this big list of stuff that seemed so daunting. I think that was the main reason why people would cite that they couldn't figure out the game or couldn't get interested in the game.
I mean, there's been a number of reasons why our friends have not played this game. And Catspur, so that does sound like really cool. Take some screenshots of Wurm and overlay or Photoshop somewhat.
Well, that'd be cool.
Better avatars. I'd love better avatars. Avatars would be awesome. And I wonder. So let's say we get better avatars. And it's just devil's advocate here.
Okay.
How many new players will we get?
With the head bobbing, I tried it, and then I encountered a bug with it where my avatar would just keep sort of ducking, and even when I wasn't doing anything. So I turned it off, and then apparently they fixed that bug, but let's see can I turn it on without restarting the game? Oh, wait. I remember that happens. My game goes away from the stream when I open my...
Yeah, you don't want
to... Okay, let's... I'll quickly do it. Where is the head bobbing? Let's see how it is now. Is it under the graphics? No, I don't think so. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Enable head bob. Save. Okay, and now I gotta go over here. And there we go. I mean, it's not terrible. What do you think of the head bobbing?
I haven't turned. I was like you. I turned it off because of the bug. I haven't turned it back on. One thing that kind of sucks is I do tend to get fairly dizzy more than other people in like every situation, not just gaming.
Right.
And therefore, I turn them off, and I haven't really turned them on. I'm sure I could probably get used to it, but more of like a nauseous level, I'm not tolerable at all anymore. I'll get nauseous like on a train, and I take a train every day.
Right. Yeah. It is a little bit. It does give a little bit of that to me, even. And I don't really get sick very easily.
And that's it. Like, I wish I could take it.
I wish it wasn't so much. Like, it feels as almost like my character's kneeling. I'm going so low.
The real issue is that it's a monitor screen. It would feel less if, if you were in like virtual reality or something.
Maybe. That's true. But wouldn't it be weird if, like, you're in virtual reality?
Weird. It shouldn't happen in virtual reality.
I know. It's like it should only go down if your physical body is going down.
An example.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a Wurm graphics GoFundMe campaign.
Yeah.
Now, remember this.
Okay, I'm going to turn off the headphone.
How many people on the Wurm dev team deal with 3D graphics or any kind of artistic work? All of that stuff. How many do you think are employed or are volunteered or whatever that are working on Wurm right now, if you had to guess?
Just from the graphics side.
Like all the different kinds of graphics, like the artwork, the painting of the meshes, the 3D graphics, the like 3D meshes, the like all of that stuff.
Yeah. I feel like there used to be 2, and I think now there's only 1.
There's 1.
Yeah. Because Saruman's the main art guy. But I feel like there used to be Walks.
Walks left, yeah.
Walks left, okay.
Walks used to be the head artist, the head of the art department. I technically, for a little while, was part of that team.
On a volunteer basis, right?
Yeah. And then Walks left. So Walks did like the maps. He did the character window. Stuff like that. He was like doing all the icons and stuff, if I remember correctly. And then Saruman was like the 3D artist guy.
Oh, and Casper, you're saying that you asked them to join, but they didn't have the resources. Yeah, I mean, I think it really just does come down to how much money they have to spend on these sorts of things. It has
to be like basic looking for volunteers.
Right.
Saruman was completely a volunteer. when he started, I should say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like,
He was completely here. We all were.
yeah, they'll accept the volunteer devs, I'm sure. But yeah, not. Yeah, they don't. How many devs would you guess do they have on a payroll? Like in total?
Not many.
Right. Like I want to guess like 3 or something like that are actually getting paid.
That's right. Like,
yeah, it's not many.
Like I think Retro gets paid, but he's not a dev.
This is something that we'll probably find out on the stream, on Retro's stream, or on the Wurm Online official stream.
I don't know how Wurm does it either.
I know.
I don't know how the people do it. You must just love worms so much.
Hey, Hackett. Yes, we got the overlay to fit. Took a little bit of finagling, but we got it.
It looks great. I think it looks great.
I haven't put the other things down, but I figured that's okay. I do like it. Makes it look like we're part of the game.
Yep, somewhat anyway. Yeah. Oops. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, they do I feel like they do need to talk about something that we don't know about. But it almost seems like, would you be happy if they talk about nothing new other than, let's say, insight into how they develop Worm?
I'd be interested in knowing that too.
Insights about stories that happened in the past. Like a developer history, or stories about things that we might never have heard about. Like, let's say if there was a story about multi-story housing and how that came to be, and
yeah, totally.
And then they said nothing new about the future of the game.
Yeah,
nothing,
okay.
like no roadmap, no nothing. It's like we're reminiscing about stuff that we as players would have not have known about at all.
See, here's the thing about the roadmap thing. They really only need to talk about that once. Right? Like, they just need to say, this is the plan, and these are the things that we're interested in working on, and we're going to, do them in this order or whatever it is. But once they say it, it's like, then that's going to last. Like, they don't need to do a roadmap every single week or every month or whatever. They just need to do it once, and that'll make everybody happy. And then I totally agree with you. Old stories would be great. Behind the scenes things that are going on, that would be great too. How they do it, because like as a bunch of us are saying, we can't even see how they do it. Like, how do they keep this game going and continue to develop it on the cycle that they do with like so few people? I don't know.
Feels like we're all expecting some new information of some kind. Some sort of guided, reassuring direction.
Yeah.
So Rick, no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Yeah, Alan Key is saying it's giving a roadmap will either bring people or it'll make the decline worse. All the devs can do is like not worry too much about the decline and focus fully on you know, doing the best they can to make the game as best as they possibly can. And that's all they can do, really. It's very possible that no matter what the devs do, the decline will continue. And that's just the reality of the market, right? We're moving into the future where there's new games coming out all the time, and Wurm has to compete, and you know, the thing is that they will always have these diehard, passionate players who will continue to play Wurm no matter what. And the only hope is that that's enough to keep the game going forever. So that part of the reason why they have to keep their overheads low, why they have to like keep the team low and say that they don't have enough resources to continue, because they don't want to grow the team without, you know, if there's a possibility of it declining. So they're like keeping the team and the amount of like resources they need to spend at the minimal possible amount so that the game can last for as long as it possibly can.
I mean, Rolf has always been adamant that we could keep this running with like hardly any money incoming.
Right. I'm sure that all they need is just enough to pay for the servers. You know,
Pretty much.
I wonder how the AWS stuff is going to affect that.
Maybe it'll become cheaper.
Yeah, I have the feeling, like I feel like reading Keenan's dev blog post, he was talking about money in one of them.
Yeah.
And he was saying like he's trying to keep the cost as low as possible, but then that means certain sacrifices that may not make it worth it, and that in order to make it kind of like to make the Switch have the benefit that he wants, it might end up costing more money, and that's sort of like a point of contention right now that's holding up the Switch.
Mm.
Or at least it's one of the things that he was mentioning. So yeah.
That could be a roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah. Work night is going well anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If I would answer your question, Hackett from a long time ago.
A long time ago, yeah.
I think at this point we all enjoy it while we're playing. That's why we're here.
Oh no,
Right.
I'm getting hit by the...
Uh-oh. There you go.
You know, another thing that I would like to see, going back to like the question of like what would we like to see them announce?
Yeah.
I would like them to start working on more. How should I say this? More things related to the NPC/AI, like the animals and the monsters that we fight and that stuff. I'd like to see work being done on the AI of it all, you know, to the point where we can start seeing like a revamp of, let's say, the animal husbandry/animal taming, but also on top of that, like the experience we have when we go out hunting to be sort of rethought. Maybe add experiences that require small groups, because currently they have like stuff you can do individually, and then there's stuff that you can do with large groups of people, but there's no like middle ground where you like have you and two other friends go out and face a challenge that you feel like only like you wouldn't be able to do on your own, but you can do it because you're with your close friends.
So I don't think that there will ever be like a combat, like a complete combat revamp where the mechanics that you use to fight monsters changes. They could, but I just don't see it happening.
Right. I'd agree with that statement.
So you want like more experiences with the combat system that we're having to flesh out, the different kinds of combat events that we currently have.
Naray's is suggesting like bandit camps, troll camps that you can raid.
Yeah. So that's been definitely a long-standing suggestion where we thought of. I'm gonna stand on your.
Okay.
Where? Oh shoot.
Where
we thought of like basically that, like NPCs could be building their own like camps, and players would have to raid them. But I definitely always liked the idea of being able to spawn your own kind of boss.
Yep.
That would allow the most amount of players to experience the most amount of combat.
So this was we suggested this a long time ago.
Yeah,
what did we call it? The encounter system?
I can't remember what it's called. Yeah. The something encounter system.
And I remember that this was way before Rifts, so they implemented Rifts shortly after we made that suggestion. But it wasn't quite what we sort of... Rifts ended up being something that weren't sort of accessible by players like us.
Right. So all that I suggested was having the ability to create, let's say, an area, build an area up with some players for the specific purpose of like summoning a monster of some kind. And like a one-time summon, you summon the monster in, and then based on the parameters of what it would take to spawn that type of monster, you would have to build certain items or a house or something that you have to like actually put time and effort into and resources. You spawn the monster and then you have to kill the monster.
Right.
And it's a one-time deal. The monster would like destroy the items that you crafted.
Or it could be waves of monsters.
Yeah. And it could change depending on what kind of items that you created or where you built them. Like on top of a mountain would spawn this kind, near water would spawn this kind, in a mine would spawn this kind of monster.
And maybe the quality of the item that you're able to construct changes the something about it as well.
Yeah, and it would allow any player or any group of players to be able to summon or to create an event on their own time. To be able to schedule an event with their own village or alliance. I'll come, Saturday night at this time, we're all going to come in and we're all going to, make sure we're going to build this and we're going to craft that throughout the week. And then we're going to spawn at this time and hold our event. Like imagine like the Rite of Spring or whatever it's called was timed by the server and not the players.
Isn't it timed by the server? What do you mean?
Like the players have to cast it.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying. So imagine if the Rite of Spring was changed to be more like Rifts.
Yeah.
The difference between these two systems, like the Rift system versus this encounter system you're describing where we can control when it starts, is like comparing cable TV to Netflix. Right? With a Rift, you have to you're scheduling it based on the way the game is scheduled. You have to change your life schedule to match the schedule of the game. right? Whereas this encounter system is something where we can take control of the schedule of the game and change it to how we want.
Right. And it's rifts are fine. They're just not accessible at all by a lot of people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've been to 2 rifts now.
I haven't been to any rifts.
Right. You haven't been to any rifts. And it's mostly because I might hop on and have 1 hour to play. And I can't get to the rift, finish the rift, get back in 1 hour. Let alone that rift might not even be happening at that 1 hour that I'm playing.
Yeah, and I thought of the whole encounter system specifically, Hackett, so there would not need to be private instances, because I know how much people want the world to still feel like, it's everything's part of the world and not in its own private instances. I guess this all stems back to when we used to play EverQuest. Instances was a big form of contention with players when they first decided to implement an instance.
Yeah, old school EverQuest was like non-instanced, and anytime that anybody suggested to instance it, it was like, didn't they add instances eventually though?
They did.
Yeah.
Now, and that's why there was this whole big divide over like the old EverQuest, worlds versus the new EverQuest worlds. And it wasn't even I think that's you.
Yeah. Well, hold on one second. We're kind of getting stuck in a situation where we won't be able to fit all this clay.
Uh-oh.
There's still clay on the ground, and then there's health horses killing us. And I filled up a cart, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, EverQuest these days has nothing to do the way that it used to be. And I remember one particular moment. So the way that EverQuest worked was every single monster, every single animal, every orc or troll or whatever, you saw them holding a weapon, or if you saw them holding a shield and you killed them, they would drop that weapon. They would drop that piece of armor that they're wearing. Mm-hmm. It made sense that way. You could see what you would get from the monster. I mean, this was like what, 2000?
Right.
And that's what it made sense to us. If it was if you were killing a lion, the lion's not going to be dropping a sword or money, right? It's going to be dropping its tooth or like that sort of thing. It made sense to us. And then there was one moment, one expansion that came out in EverQuest where they completely changed those rules. And they said, well, let's make this phantom look really cool, give it this big, sword. And you kill it and it dropped nothing.
Right.
Or something completely different. And then all of a sudden the rule of like being able to see what a boss is holding just disappeared, and everything in the newer expansions just didn't have the same reality as the things in the original worlds. Mm-hmm. And that's where the whole divide sort of happened. And when we came back and when we found Wurm and we started playing Wurm, that came, like, Wurm has that, and it still has that. It still makes sense. Like, you're not gonna kill a bear and get something that's not bear-like from it.
Right. By the way, I'm pretty sure we have enough now.
Ooh.
So if you want to come over here, we can start putting together some of the sand that Silverwolf brought us so kindly. We can put that together with the clay we got.
All right, I will be right back. I'm just going to take a quick break before we do that. Let's think of the next topic while we do the mortar. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yep. That expansion that Brian was talking about, I kind of remember was Luckland, which I think was the 4th expansion. And I remember like they added all these mobs that had these crazy models that looked really awesome, but then at the same time they wouldn't drop anything all that exciting. So yeah, I mean Wurm, when we first discovered Wurm, it reminded us so much of EverQuest. How like, you know, that troll would come up with that big shot club, and if you were somehow able to kill a troll, and we would do so with like guards or whatever, and then the troll would have like drop their shot club, you know, and it would make sense that, let's say, a mountain lion wouldn't drop money, but instead you were able to harvest its pelt, and like it just, yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying. So you're saying, JCast is saying, you played EverQuest last year or so, and now it's Hyper Instance. Yeah, it's such a shame what happened to that game. Like, I don't feel like I could ever get into EverQuest the way it is now. You know? Yeah, Luckland was the one with the moon, and yeah, that's right. That's right, and it had that centralized... you know, the centralized travel across the world, I feel, was like when they added the plane of knowledge. Was that Luckland that they added the plane of knowledge? Brian would probably know. Hackett, you're saying you played a lot of games searching for what Wurm has and have never been happy. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, going back to EverQuest now is definitely not. I don't know, like we tried this old what was it called? EQ99 or what is that? We did,
yeah, EverQuest 99 or something.
Yeah,
I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, during me too. Time. Totally.
It was like it brought back the same feelings. It reminded you why we actually liked that version of the game.
Right. This is like a version of the game that's like just with Velius.
Oh, I loved Velius. So I kind of felt sorry that we stopped playing before we ended up getting there.
Right.
Because that expansion was just like a masterpiece of an expansion.
Yeah, and Casper, you're saying that it would be nice if we were like able to sometimes have a chance of getting something really nice, which I'd also agree with. Like when they added in the ability to get gems when you're digging, for example, I really like that. It made digging that much more fun. Not that it wasn't fun to begin with, but just to have that extra added chance gives you that hope. Like if I just continue digging for a little bit longer, maybe I'll get a rare bone. Oh, and Do Jensen, thank you so much for that sub.
Wouldn't it be like really, really, really cool if Wurm opened up like a continent or an island that you couldn't build on, but had special resources, special ecosystems that you could venture to, collect, and bring back to your village to create, cool stuff.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Stuff isn't rare. Like it wouldn't be rare things. It would just be things that you'd have to go venture to. Because I think what happens in Wurm is that everything's very centralized. Everything's pretty much the same ecosystem as the other. You can create whatever ecosystem that you want, but if you need rocks, if you need sandstone, if you need any of the ores, it's probably not that far away from where you are. So there's always something of everything around you somewhat. without needing to travel very far. There's no actual different ecosystems. There's no actual place where you only find this or you only find that.
Right. That would be cool, but then they would have to create a whole new resource or a few resources and then create uses for those resources.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be like a whole, and then there would have to be the whole issue of balancing that with what we already have to make it so that it can't just completely replace what we have. Making iron useless all of a sudden, that doesn't.
No, it would have to be something more on top of everything that we have instead of a replacement or something that removes the need for something else.
Right.
I mean, they did that somewhat successfully with like marble and slate and sandstone and all those things.
Yep. Yeah.
You never know. They could do it successfully with other things. Like, why not have an entire continent that you can go to that has different animals, has different, different kinds of trees.
Like create a new type of leather that you can make leather items out of.
Right. How about if that place had like, I don't know, animals that just don't spawn here, and then you kill them and they have a special leather.
Yeah.
Palm trees that give coconuts or something. I don't know.
Okay, my turn for a break. I'll be right back.
All right. It'd be cool to have to travel to see like a whole different side. I think one reason why I loved Velius in EverQuest was because it was so different. It was the ice, like cold wintry continent. And if you remember in the original EverQuest, in the original areas that you could spawn, there was no snow. I mean, there was snow. I'm lying. There was a small section of snow. And I think what's cool about the original EverQuest was there was different biomes throughout the continent. I think the thing I'm thinking about Velius and the reason why I think it's such a masterpiece was because of the way that they filtered the story, or they threaded the story through the dungeons that they had with the NPC characters that they created in that continent. So there was like an ongoing war that was always going on within Velius.
We're back to EverQuest.
Yeah, I don't know about this. So it was like
you love Velius.
Yeah, it was the dwarves versus the giants versus the dragons. And you had to choose a side. And that choice mattered. You wanted to be part of the giants, you could join the giants and you can make them like you. But that choice had consequences. Right? Because then if you want the giants to like you, then the other two would hate you.
Right.
Anyway. Could Wurm do something similar?
Factions?
It could, but I mean, that would just... This is the thing. I almost feel like even though they have so many... when we look at Wurm, we see a lot of EverQuest and Wurm, but the truth is two games are not similar at all. And like most of the features of Wurm or of EverQuest cannot be transferred to Wurm.
Right.
We shouldn't be trying to.
I agree with that.
We know what Wurm is. We know the kind of game. We're all here because of the kind of game Wurm is. And all we really want is them to just expand on this world and on this feature set. Not sure what I would think if they decided to add a completely new feature set that's not related to anything we already have.
I agree with that.
Because once they do that, then they start splitting the community. Because some people will like it, and then some people hate it, and some people will just be indifferent of it. It's almost like Rifts. Rifts was a new feature that they added that wasn't in the game before. Some people love it. Some people don't like it. And I'm sort of like indifferent to it in the way that, because I can't really experience it. And even if I did, it would maybe be like a one-off. It's like a one-off event to me. What I do love is that it's there and that it's part of the ever-changing Wurm world. Something that I will not experience, which is something that EverQuest also had. That feeling that the world was more than you as a player.
Right.
Because I think some games, even like MMOs these days, players want to conquer the game, conquer the world, conquer the game. They want to do everything, and they want to do it quickly. And EverQuest and Wurm both had the qualities of that the game was greater than the player, like at all moments. There's no way in either of these games that you're going to be able to do everything and that you're going to be able to conquer or become greater than the game itself. Maybe that's what we loved about both of these games.
Definitely one of the things. I'd agree with that. Are you making mortar, or are you just
I'm completely not helping you.
Right. I'm like, where are you? Still standing down at the clay pits? Oh, there you are.
Nice. We got sand. What are we doing here?
Yeah, so there's sand in the bin, and then
here. Oh, nice. Okay, good.
Okay.
Nice.
You see what's going on. Oh, and you made yourself an altar, I see.
Did I? Did. Yes. Yes, I did that a while ago.
Now, what's nice is that we did get a couple rare clays out of that digging session.
Ooh. Nice.
Let's see. I'm holding a total of, I think, 3 now. 3 rare clays. 1 from before and 2 from here.
I'm going to do 50 at a time, I think.
The question is, do we sell those rare clays, or do we try to make something rare with it?
I mean, how you can hold on to them.
I also feel like I got a rare plank. I don't know what happened to it, though. What did I do with that rare plank? I'm pretty sure I kept it in my inventory. I just don't see it now.
You must have used it when we were doing the bridge.
Oh!
I used to do that all the time. I'll just hold on to this plank and I'll put it in my bag, and then I go and create like some fencing.
Yeah, that's exactly what just happened. I'm
just
sure.
randomly use it.
Oh well. There goes that rare plank.
How many people have done that?
See, my system that I would use to prevent that from happening is I would put all those rare items onto my merchant,
Yeah, which we do not have
which we
anymore.
do not have anymore. All these things we used to take for granted.
We've all done that very, very many times.
You sack rare clays. Don't do that. Don't do that. There's people out there that will buy rare clay from you for at least 20 copper per clay.
I
So
mean, what we could do, so we collect all the clay, we collect all like rare bricks, and we'll see if we can get,
rare forge.
we'll see if we can get a rare forge for you.
Is there any benefit to having a rare oven?
I thought it would just heat up quicker or something.
Yeah, I guess so. Heat up quicker and stay
You
lit
get better
longer.
quality. Do you think you get better quality?
Food?
Like, yeah.
I don't think so, but I do think that it changes the affinity that you get if you're using a rare forge, rare oven versus a regular.
Like to just a longer affinity or changes affinity?
No, it just changes it to a different one.
Oh.
It's part of the equation. Yeah, rare everything, make your entire village glow. That's
Should they include the ability to have rare fences or walls?
and then everything just glows.
Everything. Build
What is
a rare.
turning you away? Is it me? Is it just on my screen that I'm seeing all that smoke?
I see a little bit of it.
Now it's all gone. That's weird.
The horse did something.
Was it? Oh, was it the horse attacked me?
Yeah. I don't think that you can get rare walls or fences. They probably turned it off for that reason. People just didn't want one wall to be glowing. People like uniform stuff.
I was reading a post on the forums regarding dyeing walls. Because that's something that I kind of want to do. I want to, like that stables up there, I kind of want to dye it kind of like a reddy brown or something like that.
Okay.
But the issue is that each wall takes 1 kilogram. And you kind of want to like have all the walls the same color, right? So it's not like you can mix and make 1 kilogram of it and dye one wall and then mix another 1 kilogram and dye that wall, because then the 2 walls would be slightly different color. So I saw a post about some guy who was like trying to figure out what is the best way. If I want to dye many, many walls, how do I like make sure they're all going to be the exact same color?
Yeah.
And so people were responding with like, okay, you're going to need to get 1 big tub. Like it could be a Amorpha or even like just like a small barrel can hold 45 kilograms. So that's enough for like a smallish house.
Yeah.
And then you just need to like make that much dye of the same color before you go paint it. But I'm trying to think, like, I kind of remember there's a mechanism with dyeing, like making dye, where let's say I mix like a cochineal with water and then into like a bucket, and then I pour that bucket into a barrel. And then I mix another cochineal with water into the bucket, and then I pour that bucket into the barrel. And you continue that process. I kind of remember that when you mix two bits of dye, the quality doesn't just average. It like decreases the quality. Like if both end up being exactly the same color with the same RGB value with the same quality, and I mix them together like just by pouring one into the other, then the quality goes down and the RGB color changes. Now I'm not sure if that still happens, but that's what it was like way back when I was doing die making a long time ago. And of course, if you continue that process over many, many times to get like, maybe 100 kilograms of dye, you're going to end up with like really low quality dye with really crappy color.
Couldn't you fill like a whole barrel or something?
Yeah, but
Or only get certain amount of dye per action?
I feel like you can only do one at a time. So, because cochineal doesn't clump together, you can't combine it.
Right.
Or can you? Can you combine cochineal?
I don't remember.
Yeah, and Alan Key, you're saying you got to throw it all in a huge tub, and I think you're right. But you could, yeah, right. You can only do 1 kg at a time, right? So you do 1 kg and then throw that into a huge tub, and then you do another kilogram, throw that into the tub. But from my memory, each time that you pour it into the tub, the quality goes down. It doesn't average out. It like reduces. Okay, so green dye you can do all at once. I kind of remember that. Okay, so Casper, you're saying it depends on the raw material. Cochineal cannot be combined with lumps. You can make a big amount. Okay. What? They should just let us combine cochineal, And woad. Woad is the other one that doesn't combine. So yeah, I don't know. Or the other
change. But,
sorry.
We should bring up to Buddha.
Yeah, the other suggestion is just make it so that when you mix two bits of dye, that it just simply averages out everything. That you shouldn't be losing quality, and you shouldn't be losing, like let's say you have like a really nice red with like 245R and really low blue and really low green. And you have another one that's similar, and when you mix them together, it should just average out, and it shouldn't raise the blue or green. But I feel like it does. I mean, Alan Key, I totally agree. Like, just keep the high quality stuff and keep mixing the high quality stuff. But as I'm saying, like, let's say you had 2 barrels of 70 quality dye and you put them together, it ends up being like 68 quality, and then the RGB color changes. Like it does. I could be wrong. That I think that they might it's possible they change that, but that's how it was back in the day. So I'm kind of like, I'm worried that that's what's going to happen when I go to try to do this again. I'll let you guys know what happens. We'll try it out.
Something to bring up on next week's stream.
You mean the dev one? The dev stream?
Yeah.
So this roadmap. Dying.
Yeah, let's think of it this way. Okay, we all expect the devs to have this like ultimate plan, or to be able to see everything that the players are seeing, like this, like something as simple as like, oh yeah, like cochineal you should be able to like lump them together. But the devs aren't playing the game like we are, and therefore will never ask that question. So once the player asks, say, we should be able to clump this together, this is why, this makes sense, like your argument, then of course the dev would look at it and go, okay, they'll have their discussion and say, okay, why wasn't cochineal ever, why didn't we ever allow, like, was there some reason why they do not clump together? And they'll look through all possibilities. Like maybe it could have been there was a reason, this is why they did it, and therefore we can't do it. Or they might say, I don't know, it's just sort of like we implemented it that way and we never looked back.
There are items in the game that it makes sense not to clump them together.
Right. So they would look over that but they would never look over that until you bring that to their attention.
It's true. I feel
And
like it's been brought up, but it might be such a minor thing that.
right. I don't think so. If I was a dev and I heard somebody just say that one statement,
Yeah.
we should be able to clump cochineal. The dev, as a dev, I would never say, like, why. I would never say, like, okay, I don't know why that person just said it. Why the heck would anybody want that? And then I would just move on to, like, something that I feel that people would actually want. So the way that you brought it up, like you like on the suggestion forms, the best kind of suggestions are, we need this. This is why.
Right.
We need this.
Now, before I go making a suggestion on the forums, I would like to do some tests just to make sure that what my memory, because it's been a long time since I did die making, like many years, in fact. So I just want to make sure that my memory is the same as what it is now, before going on a big rant on the forums.
And that's a good suggestion, Jcast. Turn the cochineal into something else. Like how you have to like crush the WEMP plants into web fibers.
I have considered using Wurm Unlimited to do tests. I just never got around to figuring it out. So like I still haven't quite figured out how to become a GM and how to spawn stuff and all that. And part of it is that like it would be just a time investment that it's like it's almost like it's not worth it enough to me to go do those tests. Like the amount of time invested, I'd consider it and then I'd be like, or I could go play the game or I could go play this. I don't know. I know. If I figured it out, I'm sure it would be easy. Okay, I'd look at some links, at some instructions on how to do it. And I'm not sure that you can't combine cochineal. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so Cats is 100% sure. Okay, there you go. Just for me, it's been a long time. So yeah, at least so yeah.
Well, good thing that we have okay, we do have 28 cochineal, so let's find out.
Okay. And it is possible, Jensen, that there are mods on some servers that allow you to.
I cannot combine them.
Okay, so you can't combine them.
No combine function.
Yeah, so it's possible that some servers have mods that allow you to combine them. It almost makes sense that you should be able to combine them.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, you can make a suggestion thread or bring it up to the devs and say, here are some modifications that would be really nice, and these are why we need these modifications.
Have a good night, Alan Key. Thanks for dropping by.
Good night. And that's what you would, I mean, that's what we'd have to do. It worked. I almost feel like there would be no reason for them not to investigate and make these small little changes.
It would just be a matter of devs' time, right? Like somebody would have to take on that project,
Like
and
they would do.
And maybe it's one of those things where you don't want to just do a tiny little fix like that. You may as well at the same time.
Well, think of it this way:
incorporate it in a bigger change.
They've already made a bigger change to the die making system. That happened, I don't even remember how many years ago, where they changed the dye system so that you could have different kinds of colors.
Oh yeah. Where like the teal and the yellow.
Yeah, it was something that they worked on, something that they completed, and now this would just be like a revisit, like a few tweaks here and there.
100%. We totally got
Yeah,
more into the fruit.
more into fruit picking. Uh, I'm still experiencing like the joys of all the different fruit that's available.
Yeah. I found myself like going around collecting sap for the very first time once I saw the sap on the maple trees. I was like, "Ooh, there's sap." And I like just going around collecting all the sap. I've never done it before. Yet the visual cue really prompted me to go do it.
I haven't done it enough to know what I'm doing yet.
Oh, are you referring to your post that you made regarding the overaged trees? Because we did discuss this just before you got on.
Oh yeah, we already talked about this. This is one thing that we did discuss. And we thought of different solutions for you. You can watch the beginning of the stream.
Rewind, yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
remember exactly what we said, but there was multiple different things they could do. Like one of them could be, although I don't think anybody would agree with me, is you would prune the tree and then it would take some time for the fruit to grow back onto the tree.
I don't think that anybody's going to agree with that.
You don't want that slight nerf?
I mean, I think that the obvious thing they need to do, the change that needs to be made, is just make it so that you can harvest overaged trees. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Simply allow overaged trees that are harvestable to be harvestable, and like just get rid of that weird.
Yeah, that was also one of the suggestions. Did they just allow you to imp carpentry items on a horse? I believe that's always been the case that you could do that.
Yep. In fact, you can even do blacksmithing while riding on a horse or a cart or a wagon, as long as you're holding like a glowing lump. I think all improve actions.
The last question from Alan Key. Do you think Wurm could pay a social media influencer gamer, so a gamer that has a lot of followers or something, to play Wurm for a week or something? And would that help?
You would have to choose wisely about who you get.
Wouldn't be so here's a little bit of history if people don't know. This happened without needing to pay anybody. A guy, well known, was it a streamer or YouTuber or something.
It was a YouTuber.
Started like genuinely enjoyed Worm. I can't remember his name. He genuinely enjoyed playing Worm. I believe this was back in 2013.
Yeah, what was his name?
2013.
Basher.
It was Basher.
Yeah.
How do you remember that?
Because I watched a whole bunch of his other videos.
Anyway, genuinely, really enjoyed. He was a Minecraft player, came to Worm, really liked it, had a lot of people following him, and he brought a ton of players into the game. Just ton. Like there was a time where just he started a village, like a giant village, and they were building it up.
There's a good 50 people with him, like building.
Yeah, it was crazy. And did it help the game? I remember like Okay, eventually most of them left. A lot of people that were in the game did not like that they came, especially people that live near.
Mm.
And like people thought, like, yeah, like you're saying, that they were disruptive, that they were causing issues. Uh,
Do you remember when Rolf allowed Basher to change his name? So he had bought an account, and then they allowed him to change the account's name to Basher.
right.
That
They
was
were trying. That was the one thing. They basically said, okay, here's a guy that is bringing money into the game, that is doing it all on his own because he enjoys the game. They pay him any money, but they allowed him to change his name, and people went crazy.
it is true that if you
But think of it. Would it have been better if like Rolf just paid him money?
no,
No, like people would have gone crazy at the time. Uh,
like you don't want like a person to stream Wurm, and if they're paid, then they're like, they kind of have to say nice things about Wurm, but they would, if like if they're not really into the game or they can't quite figure out how to play the game, they might just, it'll come through on the video, their frustration or their, you know you'd have to get a player who genuinely likes sandbox types games, and who genuinely likes to figure out the mechanisms, and because if they have a bad experience on stream in front of thousands of people, that's not going to be good publicity for this game.
right. And did something positive come out of Basher's experience? Like I remember hearing many players after that saying, "I came with Basher, but I stayed because I love the game."
Mm-hmm.
And players like that, I don't know if they still exist or if they're still playing that came with him, that are still playing the game. But for a few years later, I would always hear players comment something like that.
Yeah, I also remember people saying the same thing
And
years after.
don't worry, cats per will never take anything personally. It's why we, in the beginning, called ourselves Factional Fight. Whenever, I don't remember, 2007.
Oh my
where
goodness.
where we always had different opinions on everything, almost everything.
We'd be at each other's throat about different things. It doesn't come through on Wurm because we agree on a lot of things related to Wurm, but when it came to games before Wurm, we were totally on opposite ends of the spectrum.
I wonder if I still have. So we created a podcast before podcasts were popular.
Yeah.
I still have the recording somewhere.
Ryder, thank you so much for the bits.
Hey, Ryder, thanks.
Yeah, those original podcasts we made. See, back then I was like well into World of Warcraft, and Brian here was well into
I was well into Vanguard.
Vanguard. And we were just constantly at war with each other about all the little nitpicky things about those games.
Yeah, I couldn't understand why you couldn't just enjoy Vanguard. It was supposed to be the spiritual successor to EverQuest.
Oh, and we taught you how to survive in your early noob days.
Oh,
Well, we're glad we can help you out with that.
yeah, we have done a lot of videos.
We wish that we had like a resource like that when we were in our noob days.
We definitely fumbled around.
Which is part of the reason why we created a lot of that stuff. Yep, we're totally mellowed out. Yep.
We're completely just old.
Yeah. You know, we also had our cousin was also a part of that podcast,
Yeah.
and
He also played EverQuest with us.
he also played EverQuest with us. He continued playing Vanguard with you. I don't think did he ever play World of Warcraft? I don't think he ever did.
He
Or maybe for a little bit.
might have a little bit.
And then when we discovered Wurm, we got him like to play a little bit with us.
He never could.
Never could. He couldn't get into this game. He couldn't see the appeal. And you know, if he stick with these podcasts, he probably would be that one who's like causing the tension.
Probably. And yes, the beers definitely do help.
How old are we now? We're old. Oh God.
How old?
We are older than we look is probably what it is.
Probably. That's what I hear all the time.
I don't know.
We are technically in our 30s.
I'm okay giving out my age. I will be 40 this year. This is the 40.
Wow.
Yeah. This year's 40.
Big O.
Yeah, the big 4-0. What? Yeah.
That's what happens when you just play enough Worm.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, you'll be 40.
Yep. Thanks, Alan Key. Yeah. Good.
And I'm younger.
Yeah, Brian's younger, yeah. Yeah, Wormaday keeps the doctor away.
That's right. You can look as young as us. Just keep playing Worm.
Yeah, see, when we were playing EverQuest, this was like I was in university playing EverQuest. Like the end of high school, like university. Was it even the end of high school?
Yeah.
No. It wasn't even the end of high school. It was like after high school for sure.
It was when we started playing EverQuest. I was 18.
Okay.
18?
So yeah. So when we started playing EverQuest, you were ending high school. So I was like well after high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that anyway.
Feels like a long time ago. You have to play a lot of Wurm to become 40.
Yes. I have to play. Oh, yeah. Well, we will gladly be playing Worm. As long as Worm wants to continue to exist.
Totally. No matter what other games that we discover, this game is always going to be there, I feel.
I still think you should be streaming that Mordu game.
Yeah.
wouldn't mind seeing that.
See, I got Brian. He came over last week, and I got him to try it out. It's a
Yeah, it's
ton of fun.
different style game. I mean,
Different,
look at
yeah.
Battleground.
Battleground, yeah. See, if you've been watching us long enough, you'll know that I have like a PvP type itch that needs to get scratched every so often. And that game just does it. Like, that game is pure carnage PvP Battlegrounds. Just awesome. So much fun.
I think you have enough information, Casper, to figure that one out. But
Oh, I see you do, Jensen.
oh, the thing about PvP, you always loved PvP and the PvP aspect of like World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, it was fun in World of Warcraft, but I never really enjoyed that aspect. I was way more of a PvE player than I believe. But there was one game where I just absolutely loved PvP.
What was that?
And that was Global Agenda.
Oh, right.
No one else played that game. Like, I don't know how I got so into that game. You played it for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, totally. We played it together a lot.
Played it forever, and like even our cousin played it forever, and we like all got back together. It was like years after we played EverQuest. We all got back together and we just played the heck out of Global Agenda. And there was it sucks that it went away. It was like the perfect combination for me of like a level-based system with somewhat of an open world, not really open world, but somewhat of like a PvE aspect.
The quest class, yeah.
Yeah, that sort of transferred into this sort of dungeon / PvP game. Yeah, if nobody played it, how is it PvP? Not enough people played it.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't exist anymore. They completely canceled it and took it down and then removed any trace of it from existence and then canceled Global Agenda 2.
Right. Which is sad. I feel like the Global Agenda 2 was a little late.
Games. Well, from what I heard, they took a lot of the concept, what they were going to do with Global Agenda, and because it was doing so poorly, they implemented it into Tribes.
Oh, okay.
Then they did another game called Tribes Ascension because they bought the license for the game Tribes. And this is the company, now they don't do any of that. So they kind of canceled all of those games, and now they're known for the company's still really famous, right? You probably heard of them. They are now the company that creates the game Paladins.
Right.
And
Smite.
Smite.
Yes.
So that company now creates MOBAs.
Well, Paladins is closer to Overwatch. Like, it's similar to Overwatch.
I see.
So Global Agenda is kind of like Overwatch.
It was larger than Overwatch.
A little bit.
Overwatch. So this is the thing. When I heard Overwatch come out and like you see, and I played Overwatch, it was like playing Global Agenda again.
Right.
It was like it was almost exactly, except it was like a cut down, more mainstream version of Global Agenda that was missing all of the aspects that I loved about Global Agenda.
Right.
No more leveling system, no more what was that? The specialty what is it called? The specialty skill tree that you could specialize in a specific type of a class.
Yep.
The skill system, the level system, the open world, the quests, the adventure, the obtaining gear, the upgrading of gear. They had crafting.
Yep, crafting, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
like remove all of that and then only include the PvP map battleground
Right.
games.
The difference is that Global Agenda, you created your character, and you, in the same way that you get attached to your character in an MMO, like it becomes your character that you customize and you level up and you skill. Whereas Overwatch has none of that.
Anyway, so and that's probably why I could never get into Overwatch, was because it just felt like I already did. I just did it, 10 years earlier.
And Casper, you're catching up to me
But
in
like,
Clash Royale. Yeah, I'm gonna have to push. Recently Clash Royale, the most recent update, got way better. And you stopped playing Clash Royale a long time ago, right, Brian?
I did.
Is that a
I
game?
played it when it came out.
Would you ever consider getting back into it?
I'm not sure. You spend a lot of time on a train. Like I spend like an hour on the train a day.
Okay.
That I do have internet access. So could I play it? Yes. I don't know if I could get into it. I mean, I say that like right now I don't have the urge. I haven't had the urge to play like games on my phone in a while. But you never know. It could always come.
So, Dude Jensen, you can join my clan. Catsper made an alt account and joined my clan. How do I do that? How do I give out the clan information? Couldn't even tell you. I'm like the least knowledgeable clan leader there is, but nonetheless. Okay, here. I will put in our clan tag into the chat. Oh goodness, is that a 0 or is that an O? I think it's a 0.
I feel like you have tons of games that you could stream.
Yeah. More, you know what? If I get a chance to stream a non-Wurm, I will stream Mordau, for sure. I'm full on into this game. Like every chance I get, I want to play this game. It's so much fun.
You should stream it. I would love to stream, let's say, something that's not Wurm. I just don't play other games. I do other things. I just don't play other games. And I'm not sure how interesting people would want to watch me do things that are not gaming. If that makes sense. I do stuff on my computer.
See, maybe people would be interested in it.
I just, like, there'll be a short while where I'll think that it might be interesting to hear me blab about, like, I don't know, coding in XAML or like theming something. But then I realize it sounds boring when I say it out loud.
Well, you never know. There might be somebody out there who is also interested in that sort of stuff.
Maybe one day I'll do it once just for the heck of it.
Yeah, see, there's totally true. Just a familiar face doing something different might be enjoyable, says Wurm.
That's one of the things that I enjoy, let's say, just as much as Wurm, is the aspect of retro gaming or the nostalgia of retro gaming from a I don't know, like Nintendo consoles and old arcade games. And
See, what's interesting about you is that it's not about playing the games.
it's not about playing the game. It's the nostalgia of the games themselves.
Right. You like creating systems that allow you to play the games. You just don't play them. Right.
It's
Which is weird to me.
it's like the collector. You know, you have like a room of like, let's say, old Nintendo games, you know, from the 80s. You don't necessarily want to then take the games and then start playing them.
You just want to hold them in your hands. Maybe
Right, you
blow on
want-
them a little bit.
You just want to remember that time, or remember the feeling that you got playing those things. And like, it's weird when I say like nobody wants to watch me code XAML, but it's not that I'm coding XAML. XAML's more like a design language. So it's like HTML or something. So there's no logic and there's no like programming really.
You really
Anyway,
should show
I'll
people
explain all
one
of
day.
that at some point.
One day you should just show people what you're doing. You don't even have to show them the code. You can just show them the stuff that you design and create. Because it is kind of interesting. And there's a whole community of people out there who use the stuff that you create. Right? Maybe you could tap like a wider
There is a
audience.
big community.
You know, you can advertise that you're streaming this stuff, get people to come, and maybe they'll also drop into one of our Wurm streams and get hooked on Wurm.
Like separate communities, but you never know.
Yeah, they're separate communities, but retro gaming and Wurm, there's a connection there somewhere.
There's somewhat of a connection there. And I you know what? I would have loved to have streamed EverQuest. That is true. I think that time has passed. Like, EverQuest not around during the time that streaming was a thing. But we did get back into EverQuest recently. A
Couple years
was
ago.
it 3 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Played it for like a few weeks,
Yeah.
maybe a month.
Maybe a month.
And that was like, I remember that time being awesome.
Yeah, we actually had a lot of fun. We got maybe to level 30 or something like that.
It's like going back to a game that you loved that you didn't think actually existed anymore.
Right.
Because the way that the game is, EverQuest, the official servers are now, I don't recognize that game.
No, I agree.
But EverQuest is not a game you can play by yourself.
That's an understatement.
So in order for me to want to play EverQuest, which I would love to, and it also takes a lot of time, I would need, I don't know, 4 other people at least.
You could do it with 2 others.
Okay, 3. We were struggling with 3.
We were struggling with 3. You're right. We were struggling with 3.
Yeah, we would definitely go into Project 99, and the community and the people in Project 99 are amazing. They're awesome. Everybody was very friendly, and the game felt just like it did back when we played.
100%. Like, even down to the, you know, the high level players who would just sit in the low level areas buffing all the newbies. Like,
Yeah, it's exactly the way it was.
that's exactly how it was back then, and it's just like how it is in the Project 99. It was good. Yeah, it felt just the same.
But to then stream, so EverQuest would be great to stream, but because it requires so many people, it's a lot of just streaming nothing. It's a lot of just like doing nothing and waiting for people to get on and have time.
Right. That was the other thing about EverQuest was the ratio of time doing nothing versus doing something. There was a lot of downtime. Like you could have like a 4 hour play session where it's like 1 hour of the 4 hours is you actually doing something, and the other 3 hours is
You're like
you're waiting for something to happen.
You're either like asking people if you can join their group or starting a group or yeah. If you're like, there's basically virtually zero things that you can do without a group.
Virtually, yeah, pretty much. You can go around and die a whole bunch. That's normal. That's what.
Yeah, not quite. I mean, and when we played it, I mean that's why guilds were so popular, because you needed a guild
Yeah.
to play.
Totally, JCast. That's exactly like what
Completely,
what made EverQuest so good was how hard it was to do anything, and then when you finally got into a group and finally accomplished the thing that you did, it's like it made all of that time that you were waiting to do it that much more rewarding.
Exactly. And then and it's why there are so many things in EverQuest that you knew that you would just never be able to experience.
Right, totally.
We played it forever and we did not experience a lot of it.
A lot of it, yeah.
But we experienced a lot.
Yeah, enough of it.
There's like so much to experience, that like so much content. I don't understand how they released that much content.
Well, they had a big team, so.
Just even the first 3 expansions. Think about the amount of content that they created is just insane.
And they're back at it right now, creating. Why does the name escape me?
Some of them.
Well, the main dude.
One guy, one of the guys that also created Vanguard.
Yes.
Which is why I'm excited about Vanguard. That's another time period of my life that I could go on about.
Well, what's this new game called again?
Played Vanguard.
How many?
Not many people.
Not many people know.
And it's another. I feel like I play games that just nobody plays. I feel like I enjoy games that nobody plays.
Right. Nobody, as in like not the popular.
Yeah. I play and I get like really into it. I loved Vanguard so much. I had a map of the Vanguard world like framed in a picture frame, hanging on the wall, signed by some of the devs of Vanguard.
Oh, you do? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, are you still looking forward to this new game that they're... What is it called again?
Looked at it. I feel like it's so far out.
I know, it is. Yeah. It is so far out. They're talking like 2022 or something like that.
Hold on, I'll find out in a second.
Let's see if I can remember it before you...
Pantheon of the Ancients.
Pantheon. That's it.
No, sorry. Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen. Pantheon of the Ancients was a dungeon in Vanguard.
Okay. So Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen.
It basically reminds me of EverQuest.
I know, doesn't it?
But
Totally. And,
I
and
don't know.
a mixture between Vanguard and EverQuest, though.
Shroud of the Avatar. I've always wanted to, well, I wanted to play it and then didn't want to play it. Then I was looking heavily at it for a while. Uh, but yeah, I just didn't end up buying it.
Did we do beers tonight? We did. So
We did.
I was
It took a
drinking this
while.
guy right here, Dark Horse Stout, and I think Brian had a cider. Yeah.
I did have a cider, and it was lightly refreshing.
And then in the meantime, I ended up grabbing myself another one. I don't know if you have you tried this one. It's called Goose IPA, Goose Island or
I don't think so.
Goose IPA by the brewery Goose Island. You might like it actually.
Ooh,
They've won quite a few awards for this beer.
what is it? What does it taste like?
No, it's an IPA. It's a strong citrusy, good tasting IPA. It's not too fruity though. Like it has the citrus, but not in the same way as like Flying Monkeys. It's more I don't know, sharp or something. I'm not even sure how to describe it. So Shroud of the Avatar is free to play now.
Really?
But is it like truly free or is it, microtransactions and pay to play?
I'm almost scared of that.
I much would I much rather the model of buy once, play forever. And those games that I think do it right are the ones that they'll have the buy once, play forever in addition to microtransactions that are mostly cosmetic and not game breaking. So I like just like Overwatch or actually Mordau is like that, right? You buy once, you play forever, and there's cosmetic things that you can get.
We enjoyed Guild Wars 2 for a little while.
Oh yeah, we did, yeah.
There's something about it that we couldn't stay in that game.
I tried it. I tried going back to it because there was a period of time where it was like I think the original game is free to play, and then there was like a free trial for the new expansion, and it was like a weekend or something like that I was able to
Could
play
you
all.
pinpoint?
What it was? Can I pinpoint what it was?
Yeah. I guess not. I don't know.
You know what it is? It's like, you go back to World of Warcraft and you play like the original area, and it feels so much like a game now. But at least for me, when I originally played World of Warcraft, it felt like a world. It felt like I was attached to my character, and it had all those like rich experiences that you have in MMOs.
I feel like I have an odd take on World of Warcraft in general, or World of Warcraft even classic. So you say World of Warcraft classic, like the original, whatever, I guess the original world,
Yep.
minus any of the expansions.
Minus any of the expansions, yeah.
Because when I think of that, even that, like the game at all, even the classic, to me, it's never been classic. I don't know if that makes sense. Like to me, we are so old that
It was like
I
the
remember
new
World of
world
Warcraft
gaming.
as the new game coming out that is supposed to destroy EverQuest,
Right.
or it's supposed to like take all the players away from EverQuest.
It's the EverQuest clone that's going to.
EverQuest clone that's coming out to like decimate the game that we were like heavily into at that time.
Right.
And all I remember is people leaving EverQuest for that game, spending like a month or so, and then coming back to EverQuest.
Yeah.
Basically saying like, well, I did everything that I could in EverQuest and basically done now.
You know, for me, World of Warcraft became the same kind of thing that happened to EverQuest for us, where I go back to it and it's like I don't even recognize it anymore. You know, I don't even know what, like, it sort of turned into where questing is just a grind that you have no connection to whatsoever. It's just like, just do this quest, just do this next quest, and just get through all the quests, because, like, eventually you'll get to the part where we're actually doing stuff. You know, and
and that's how I kind of felt the entire time I was playing World of Warcraft. Like the entire time, ever from the beginning, was like, okay, yeah, just make it through like this area where you're doing the quest, and then make it through that area, and eventually, like, you'll get to the real game.
Right.
We'll get there eventually. We'll get to the real game. The real game is coming, and that's just not how EverQuest was.
Nope. Nope.
The real game was the journey, and then when you got through the journey, it got even more epic.
Right.
And so I was never on the board with like the whole questing system. I mean, it's ironic that the game EverQuest pretty much had no quests in it.
Right.
I mean, it did, but
that wasn't the main thing that you do.
It was not the main thing that you did. Like, it was literally not like what did you do? You camped. You camped mobs. You went through dungeons. EverQuest is highly a dungeon-based game. I found, and to the point where there's like just dungeons for every single level, multiple dungeons, multiple areas. Dungeons was the highlight, I think, of EverQuest.
I felt like EverQuest 2 moved a little bit towards the questing a little bit more.
That's right. Yeah, it should be called NeverQuest. Pretty much. The quests that EverQuest had were like big epic quests or quests to deal with something other than experience. You'd basically get no experience.
Right. But you'd get an item at the end or something. Their quests were items.
There were some quests, and there were some stuffs where you would hand in some items. I wouldn't call them quests.
But you would do them for rewards.
Yeah. So like the quests that you remember in EverQuest are like your big epic quests.
Yeah.
There was actually like quests called the Epic Quest, the Epic Weapon Quest, the Epic Quest. And so these are the weapons that are like, if you were to take this long journey that requires lots and lots of people to help, like big battles against dragons or whatever, and like then these were long quests that would take months to do.
Yeah.
You will get the best weapon that you would ever have, and it would have not only it would be the best, it would look the best, it would
Legios, thank you so much for the sub.
You know, I'm thinking specifically of the Crushbone Orc Belt quest because that's Jay, when I was thinking like I wouldn't call it a quest. It was more like one guy that said, "Hey, if you give me some belts, I will give you an item."
And that guy did not have an exclamation mark above his head.
No, like some guy in the Dwarven city.
Yeah.
You could just keep giving him belts. as much as you want.
That one actually gave you good experience.
Yeah, and it gave you good experience. It would get you through like
A few levels there. Yeah.
like the low levels, like not even
Yeah.
like the level 7 or something. I don't know.
I don't think there was any quests like that were for higher levels. Like once you get to about 15 or 16, there's no quest that you could do that's going to give you any experience whatsoever.
Yeah, and come on, we all did that quest. That played EverQuest,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. I not really a quest. I don't think we ever called it a quest.
No.
At the time, it was like, oh yeah, if you keep these belts that you're collecting from all the orcs that you're killing, you can hand it into this guy named this who sits inside of the dwarven kingdom,
Or
inside of the castle.
better yet, you can save them up and sell them to other people
Yeah.
who wanted
And
to
they'll
do
buy
that.
them from you.
They'll buy them from you. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no like quest involved. Like other players would tell you to save it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so the actual quest that you think, okay, this is a quest that you have to go on and you have to like partake in and start your journey in, was the epic quest.
There were other quests that, like around level 30, there were those like class specific armor quests. Remember
Right.
those?
I remember those. And they were also not really quests.
Right. They weren't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But so like when you think of EverQuest, you don't think of quests, you think of dungeons.
Dungeons. Yeah, totally. That's
You
exactly.
specifically remember dungeons and which levels you would be going to those dungeons for.
Yeah. Like 90% of the time playing, you're trying to go to dungeons.
And if you really think back at your EverQuest experience, you remember fondly a specific dungeon.
Right. Like for us,
that's
it
what
was Guck.
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 You remember Lower Guck?
Lower Guck.
Was an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. So at the very high levels that I was playing, I remember. I can't remember the name now. That's how
Long ago it was.
Uh,
Was this in Velius?
yes.
Was it Kale?
No, it was way above
It
Kale.
was above Kale.
Kale was also a cool experience.
Yeah.
I do remember that fondly. But there was one. There was a dragon.
Oh. I know what you're talking about.
This is gonna bug me like so bad. I don't. So
It was a raid, though.
yeah, it was a raid. It was
Dragon Shrine.
Dragon Necropolis.
Necropolis, okay. What am I thinking? Dragon
Necro. I remember people calling it Necro
Okay.
or something. Dragon Necro. So, and it was like the most epic experience being in that place. Or like all the planes blew my mind every time I would go into one of the planes.
Yep.
Imagine like in EverQuest, they decided to create all these different kinds of planes of existence, and each one had a special cool way of entering them. And you go in as a raid, and it was just each one was a different experience.
Yep. I remember those.
You would need how many people? 50 people?
40, yeah. 40, 50, yeah.
Something like that. The plane of hate.
Yeah.
The plane of, remember the plane that was like, it was like a vampire place? Plane of, yeah, I can't remember the name. Anyway, like that, these are the experiences that you remember, the different dungeons that you went to. Anyway,
Yeah, class. I bet
We're just
you
it's like a nostalgic rant.
the issue with watching EverQuest on the stream is, as we said before, there is so much more time of doing nothing than doing something.
I'm gonna okay. Here's one. Yeah, here's one more story about EverQuest
Okay.
and about the time. So they, in one of the dungeons in the original EverQuest, there was two dragons, Nagy and something.
Vox.
Do you remember the names of the dragons? And Vox.
Yeah.
So there was a raid, like 50 people raid. You can join to kill one of the dragons. And the dragons respawn every week or something. Can't remember.
Yeah.
And so if you were part of one of the raids, I remember joining one of the raids for killing Nagy, who was the fire dragon, deep within a dungeon. So you'd have to get through the dungeon, and then you would have to get through a row of fire giants, and then everybody would set up in front of the entrance to the Nagy's lair, and then when everybody's ready, you would have a roll. So like, this player needs to do this, that player needs to do that. It was like very strategic.
Yeah.
And so, and these battles would take like truly quite a while.
Like a good half hour to 40 minutes of just constant.
Yeah. Now,
yeah.
Before that, you have to get ready. So you have to like they pair you into like teams or areas, and they teach you what to do, tell you where to stand.
Yeah. Chain heal.
You know, the healers. Yeah. You're the tank. You're the backup tank. You're the DPS. You stand over there. But in order to tell 50 people this,
without Discord,
without Discord, typing it in, you're buffing like people are buffing everybody, and then everybody has to wait for their mana to regenerate, and it just took like a long time. And I remember we were there with our cousin, and our cousin, the way that game works is if you die, you respawn at your spawn point. And where that spawn point is, it's depending on where you last bound your character. And so my cousin decided, okay, he's a druid, so he can bind himself anywhere pretty much he wanted at that time. And so he decided that if he feels like he's going to die, because druids are like weak, and he can just bind himself outside of the lair so that he can then respawn and run in to continue killing Nagy. And so we get all ready. It's been like 30 minutes since we got there and started talking and buffing. We all run in and completely wipe, like everybody wipes and dies almost immediately. I have no idea why. Like, I ran in, you can't see anything. The dragon's so huge and everything's so dark. And like, I'm killing it and I'm thinking everything's okay, and then everybody's dead. And of course I die and I respawn like back at Freeport, like the city.
Miles away.
Yeah, it's like miles away, pretty much. And my cousin respawns outside of Nagy, and he's like waiting for everybody to come back and like heal up. And as he's waiting, it just so happens that in the room that he bound himself in are four fire giants that respawn in that room every half an hour. And he's waiting, and all four of them respawn. He's the only one in this room because nobody else bound themselves inside of, like, outside Nagy's lair. And he instantly gets killed. So by the four fire giants. And of course, he respawns in that room, goes down to the room, and then he gets killed by the fire giants again. And this loop continues. He respawns again, and then he dies right away, and then he respawns again, and he dies right away. And
Now,
he's listening to him over, I can't remember, like Skype chat or whatever we had back then. And he's like, I don't know what to do. Like there's nothing. The respawn happens automatically. Right? There's like, you don't have to click a button to say, yeah, please respawn. You die and then you respawn, and then you die and respawn. There's no window or something that you have to accept. And he's like, I keep dying. I don't know what to do. And we're like frantically trying this. It's like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning at this point. We're like, I don't know what to do. And he's like freaking out. And I said something like you're going to have to cut the game out. You're going to have to like force close the game.
Control-Alt-Delete, Control-Alt-Delete.
Yeah, and by the time he ended up killing him or like closing the game automatically. And I remember in EverQuest, when you Control-Delete and close the game, your character stays in the game for like a minute.
Yeah, just like in Wurm.
Yeah. And so even though he did that, he was still dying and respawning for about a minute after. And by the time he came back in, by the time everybody fought through all the fire dragons and got into that room again outside of Nagy, there was a pile of everybody's corpses on one side. And then there was a pile of just his corpses. like 20 of his corpses sitting on the other side.
Now, in EverQuest, if you die, the consequence is severe. Like, in comparison to Wurm, the consequence in EverQuest was severe. Like, you would lose a massive chunk of experience, and you couldn't get that back unless somebody with really high level cleric could res you or something like that. I could, and to get into Nagy's lair, I remember there was a minimum requirement. I think you had to be like level 45 or something like that. Right? Like, he could have easily lost enough experience to go drop below that level.
I believe he lost 5 levels.
Oh God, that's horrible.
It was bad.
Did he get him res back?
He got some of them back.
Okay.
It was enough, like even the highest res, which would give part of the experience back. It was like 90%, 90 something.
96, I think it was.
He died so many times that he still ended up losing like a level.
Oh God. That's horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, so there's 25 people streaming EverQuest right now, and only 1 person streaming Wurm, and that's us.
Yeah.
Wow. To be fair, though, EverQuest is very popular. Very popular game.
Anyway, that wasn't even why I was telling the story, but
okay.
I think the reason was that in that story, there was vast amount of time where you just do nothing.
Right.
Like, even though, okay, we're on our way into the Nagy's lair, and then we stop and we basically sit there for like an hour, listening to people talk, getting ready, buffing, doing all this stuff. Like, and then when you die,
you go in for 5 minutes, fight, and you die.
Yeah, and then it took maybe 3 to 4 hours to get back there and start again.
Right.
Like, just like long periods of time doing nothing.
And
really.
then when the fight is successful, it lasts maybe 30 or 40 minutes. Right? But like hours of waiting to start it, and then 30 or 40 minutes and it's done. And then it's hours after that waiting for the loot rolls to happen and people to port you out. Yeah.
Which is why I felt it so perplexing why people just didn't like Vanguard as much as I did. Because what Vanguard did, for me anyway, was take those dungeon experiences and then make them accessible to make them faster and cut out the wait time and then allow you to go in with less than 6 people, allow you to do stuff with like 3 people.
Right. That is one thing that I must say that Vanguard did well. They changed
But
the
other than
dynamic.
that, it was like the same sort of thing. Dungeon started right from the beginning, right from like level 5. And then you could go into dungeons all throughout your Vanguard experience.
Yeah.
But just, no one liked it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we created so much mortar. Wow, we're almost at 1,000. I think we need to see
Nice.
that 1,000 number.
Yeah. Totally. And this is without WOA clay.
That's right.
Yeah, and this is with you slacking the entire time.
This was with me slacking the entire time. That's right. It's like long periods of time where I just forget that I'm actually making mortar.
Yep. I do miss dungeoning. Like that's one thing that this game doesn't have that also the PvP games that I played don't have.
I do miss the dungeoning and like what EverQuest provided in that sense. I don't think that this game should get that.
I agree.
But yeah, I do miss it.
But in the same way, like I need a PvP sort of game to scratch that itch. It's a matter like I suppose I don't crave the dungeoning experience. I did enjoy it. I don't really seek out that type of game anymore. I'm not sure why.
I don't know.
So it's hard to say
when games like Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen would bring back into the forefront, basically.
Right. Like I'm curious to know, like, if that game does come out, will I be interested in it?
Yeah, I don't know.
There we go. There's the 1,000 mortar.
Nice. Awesome. I'm going to create the last couple here. And I think we'll call it a night, a successful night.
Totally.
Now, if we don't stream anything like Wurm again, I think the next time that we will be streaming is after the dev stream, which is next Saturday. I don't know if we're going to be streaming before that. So if not, I probably will be watching it. I think we all should be watching it, and I think the takeaway is that we should be supporting this stream.
The dev stream.
You know what the worst thing would be is if he streams this once and feels so bad after the stream that he never streams again.
Right. That would not be good.
So my hope is that the stream ends up being extremely successful.
Agreed. Let me see if I can I found, what am I trying to say? Somehow I figured out the official Twitch channel that they're going to be streaming on.
I thought he posted that.
Did he post it?
Yeah.
Where? Oh yeah, you're right. He did post it. So yeah, you can find it on the post that he made. I didn't notice that.
It's like, yeah, the giant. He even embedded it.
He embedded it,
So
right. So you should follow that channel, set the notifications so that when they turn it on, you get a notification for it.
yeah, and just be ready because I can't wait until they stream, and I can't wait to see what retro has in store for us and all the other devs. I think it would be enough for me just to hear a different point of view and a different perspective on Worm. I think that's what the devs can offer. Some sort of behind the scenes, different take on where they're coming from. It's only a week away, so
I'm excited.
till then, maybe Adam will stream some Mordo.
Yep.
Mordo.
I think I will. The moment if I can get a moment to do it, I will for sure stream some more DAO.
Yeah, and then maybe I'll stream some of my other retro stuff at some point if I ever get some time. It's a long weekend in Canada, so I'm definitely looking forward to enjoying an extra day off this weekend. So, everybody, buy some beer.
Yeah, you need to buy some beer.
Yeah, I need to go buy some beer. That's basically just me chanting to myself that I need to go buy some beer. And thanks everyone for joining. Keep playing Worm. We'll see you guys.
And just before we end, we're gonna send a raid on over to Kimmy and Pink, who is currently streaming Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Ooh, we remember that game.
We didn't we max out our characters in that game?
Got really into that game.
Yeah, we did get really into that game. Well, anyway, thanks everybody for joining, and
yeah,
that's right.
Have a good week, everyone.
Good week. Get your raid helmets on. Here we go. Have a good one.